And now, live from the Steele Twins recording studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan, and from Taylor, Michigan, with the Steele Twins Gaming presents to you the Outside Blitz. And now, here are your hosts, the Cannonball Alex Steele and the fabulous Scotty Fraytown.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Outside Blitz. I am your host, the fabulous one, Scotty Fraytown. Joining me, as the voiceover said, from Steele Twins Studio, the Cannonball, Alex Steele, joining me from afar. Alex, how we doing today?
Hey, what up, Doe?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, Boots is currently running behind, I guess. So we're getting this party started.
Yep, he's holding up the rear, kids, but don't you worry. You will have your fill of the Bootleg Bettor. You better believe it.
Yeah, he's on his way, so that'll be that's a good thing. But Alex, we got a lot to cover, so we're just going to get things rolling here today. Lots of news around the league, signings, a lot of retirements. Strangely enough, around this time of the year, to me, I always think it's weird that players go out and retire at this time of the year, because you waited all this time, you waited until after the NFL draft, till after free agency. It's just one of those things where I feel like you're screwing your team over in a way, this team that you've been playing for a while. It just seems silly to me. But I digress. Yeah, we did have some retirements, so we'll be talking about those. We had a lot of signings of one-year deals. Guys just, filler guys that are filling in different roles. You got a lot of players or a lot of teams that have gaps, in particularly on the defensive side of the ball. But you got some teams that are just trying to, piece a few different things together and get a few things going. We're going to talk about those as well. Let's get down to brass tacks here. First and foremost, we're talking about those one-year deals. Let's go ahead and talk about, one that just happened the other day. The Chargers go out and sign running back Nyheim Hines, the former Colt, to a one-year deal. This kind of comes on the heels of the Najee Harris, firework to the eyeball. Najee Harris, for the record, he winds up on the PUP list as well. So we wind up with him getting placed on it's actually the NFI list, the non-football injury list, due to the eye injury. So, the Chargers, they go out, they dump him on the NFI list. They go get Nyheim Hines, who's a very good change of pace back. He played pretty well for the Colts as an RB2 behind Jonathan Taylor. This is a nice little signing. You get a nice backup running back, a guy who's kind of a change of pace guy. It's a smart signing, don't you?
Absolutely. I think it's. Let me see here. Well, okay, I'm trying to see if I can find more stories on the. I have all these tabs open, but you sent the list of one-year deals up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have him do that rapid fire, but because it would have taken me a long time to find them all. But listen, when you get an incident like this where somebody just they do that whole what's that meme where they're doing get back Trey or something? What is it?
Back up, Terry.
Back up, Terry. So you got to do what you got to do. But the man that they got is certainly capable of filling the gap. I guess that's the good thing about having 100 guys on your roster, and that's why you only have to trim it down to 53.
Yeah, what's kind of nice about this signing, the Nyheim Hines signing, but not only that, it makes things kind of interesting on the Najee Harris front when it comes to the Chargers. They went out and drafted Omarion Hampton in this year's draft, and he's a guy that we sat here. He was our number 2 running back, on our top 5 as far as the running backs went coming out of this draft class. Omarion Hampton's going to get all kinds of opportunities, if Najee Harris isn't going to be prepared for camp. With Najee here, but both of them are very similar backs, and are Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. And Nyheim Hines kind of comes off like the change of pace guy, but he's still a backup, and he's still a Harbaugh guy, So he's a Harbaugh type of running back. So you like to see that. Another signing that happens for the 49ers, they go out and sign wide receiver Equanimous St. Brown to a one-year deal. That's Amon-Ra's brother, I believe. Yeah, he gets signed to a one-year deal. If I'm not mistaken, former Packer, but he goes out and gets signed to a one-year contract here with the Niners. The Niners are a little thin at the wide receiver position because the 49ers did go out and place Brandon Ayuk on the pup list. So they drop him on the pup list, and now here we are with Equinemius St. Brown coming in. They're, they're struggling in the receiver front here. I don't know what the hell the 49ers are going to do. I don't know who Brock Purdy's going to be throwing to. Is it going to be Ricky Pearsall? Are we going to, nobody really knows who the receivers are going to be here. It's going to be Juwan Jennings, who he's also been kind of banged up. You got Ayuk on the pup list. Now you're going out, you're signing Equinemius St. Brown, who's kind of I guess a haymaker type of guy. He's the kind of guy that you're really going to send down the field for those vertical threats. But Ricky Pearsall's kind of the same way. I'm just kind of confused about what the Niners are doing. I know they're sort of entering a rebuild mode, but then you just gave Brock Purdy the big contract, so I don't know how much you're actually going to be able to rebuild. Just an interesting trend.
I would go a one step further and call this a concerning trend. I mean, we gassed up Brandon Ayuk, all year last year. Last year around this time, coming into training camp. Although the big problem last year was he didn't really show up. And then comes the nut cutting time and getting into the season, and he drops week 5, week 6.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with, okay, so much for that experiment. So
it was a week 7 ACL tear, and now he's on the pup list. Now he's not even, he'll be out to probably start the season. He's not going to be at camp. But that was the problem with Brandon Ayuk. He was a holdout for the contract. And Boots kind of mentioned it before, when a lot of these guys, they hold out of camp, and then they come into the season not prepared, and then they get themselves injured, and then what? Now they finally get their contract in week 3, and then they come trotting onto the field with not being ready to go, and they wind up getting themselves hurt. It just seems silly to me. And now here we are again. Speaking of guys like that, I suppose we can chat about this because we're on the topic of guys holding out of camp. Terry McLaurin.
Oh, now, boy.
Yeah, man. He said he's been absent from training camp as he seeks a new deal. I mean, he says there really hasn't been a whole lot going on, a whole lot of communication between him and the team. They're lowballing him here. And in the meantime, they're over here signing other players. They went and signed 8-time Pro Bowl linebacker Von Miller to a 1-year deal. So, I mean, you're not paying your star receiver who's coming off his best season, and then you're going to go out and you're going to bring in Von Miller.
I mean, listen, we briefly touched on it last episode. On the one hand, we might have talked about it offline, but I do remember the conversation distinctly that, on the one hand, you get a guy like Von Miller who is a defensive threat, hey, I mean, good on you, but at the end of the day, Terry McLaurin's your cash cow. He's the guy that, more often than not, got it into the end zone for you. He helped you beat the Eagles when Jalen Hurts went down. He helped you guys get to the playoffs. I mean, pay the man. What are we doing here?
I think the big thing is the age, because Terry McLaurin is 29 years old, and a lot of people don't realize that, we always think like, oh, he's 26, 27. He's 29 years old, so he's getting up there. He's getting close to the other side of 30, which is the wrong side of 30, when it comes to football terms. But, Terry McLaurin, I'm with you. I think you should pay the man. And really, I mean, how hamstrung are you cash-wise to the point where you can't pay Terry McLaurin?
I mean, you just have new ownership. You just made it to the NFC Championship game. You have
a quarterback on a rookie scale contract.
Yeah.
You got a stud quarterback. If anything, your window's wide open. Pay the man.
Yes. Invest in your immediate future. You've already invested in the long-term future. Invest in your immediate future.
Yeah, this is the scenario that teams dream about. When you walk out with a quarterback like a quarterback of Jaden Daniels' talent, right? A quarterback of that talent is notoriously getting signed a huge contract. That's the type of talented quarterback. in this day and age right now that's getting paid $55 million. And you happen to have him on his rookie scale contract, and he's already talented enough to get you to the NFC, to get you up close to the NFC title game, to get you to the divisional round of the playoffs. He eliminated the number 1 seed in the playoffs in the Detroit Lions this past last postseason. And now you're not going to pay Terry McLaurin, who was his number 1 target. Like, and I get it. They have Deebo Samuel. I understand you have Deebo, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. As for the Von Miller signing, I mean, personally, I really think Von Miller is kind of washed at this point. I mean, in his heyday when he was at Denver, great. In his heyday when he was, even during that little stretch with Buffalo, he had some really good years over there with Buffalo. But if you look at what he's done in recent memory, all that guy does is get hurt. At this point, at his age, at 34 years old, all he does is get hurt. And you're going to sign him to a 1-year deal, and for what? You already have, Bobby Wagner out there. So Bobby Wagner is another one he's pushing 40, and you got him starting. You just brought him back on a 1-year deal. To me, it's not a sensible move to go out and get Von Miller when you have your number 1 receiver just sitting out of camp, and they're hamstringing themselves here. It's silly to me. This is a silly move on their end. Speaking of interesting and silly moves, the Bengals, they go out and sign quarterback Desmond Ridder to a 1-year deal.
Why?
Why? I don't understand it.
Trey Hendrickson is still sitting on the bench. He is still, holding out for a new contract, and he is the best defensive player you have. Why are you getting a bum like Desmond Ridder? You already have Joe Burrow. If you're looking for a backup quarterback, there are plenty of other veterans out there that can run circles around Desmond Ridder. This makes absolutely no sense.
I'm with you 100%. It doesn't make sense. Ridder was not good in Atlanta. Played like garbage over there. We know he played like garbage. There's a reason that they went out and drafted Michael Penix and went and picked up Kirk Cousins in the offseason. We all know. We know Desmond Ridder ain't it. And you are right. You got Trey Hendrickson absent from camp amid his contract dispute. And that one, trade him. Just trade him. Get something for him. If he doesn't want to be there, trade him. And the good news for the Bengals, and there is a silver lining here, mind you, their first-round draft pick, Shamar Stewart, the Michigan man, he finally reaches an agreement with the Bengals on his rookie deal. He was holding out a training camp this week. It was just before we came on the air that he just went and signed his new deal with the Bengals. That literally happened like 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
so,
hot off the press.
Yeah. So he got a brand new deal there. His rookie scale contract. It's just over $19 million, fully guaranteed. But he gets his rookie scale contract all situated. So at least they get one edge rusher there. But if you don't know, I get if you want the 1-2 punch of Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart. I understand. But if you don't want Hendrickson back, you don't have to have Hendrickson back now. You can send Shamar Stewart, right? Mm-hmm. You can just send him out on the field, trade Hendrickson, get your draft capital, and move on. There's other edge rushers out there. Go get one. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like Trey Hendrickson is far more valuable being traded at this point than just sitting there on their bench. And this is, we talked about it on the last show. This is, and several shows before that, this is the Bengals all day. And this is why they're looked at as the Bungles. Because you have an offense that you've invested so much into, and you have no defense. You have none. And now you got your two. At that time, you had two. Now you got one. You're basically your biggest star defensive player sitting on the bench because you don't want to pay the man. And instead of trading him, instead of moving on, what do the Bengals do? Oh, well, we're going to hold on to him. Well, if he don't want to be there, you don't want him there. Why would you want him there? Trade him.
Yeah, get something for him. It's like. Obviously, Joe Burrow's kind of sick of it. He on NFL.com he's mentioned that these contract holdouts with Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart before he signed. It's due to guarantee language. That seems to be the the kicker in this situation, and it's obviously disappointing. To quote Joe Burrow, you'd like to have all your guys out there day one to try to build that cohesion that I was talking about earlier, but that's not how it usually works out. It's a business, and that's how it's gone. I don't know if it's done, but still, the idea, if this kind of stuff starts getting to the team early on, and the team is just going to have, this miscommunication, and they're going to have these squabbles. You already have a defense that's one of the worst in the league, and we always joke about, hey, Bengals put up 45. Well, they lost. Well, the other team put up 48. And on top of having locker room squabbles and having your team not be a cohesive unit at the same time, a recipe for disaster.
It really is. There's way too many egos at play here, and the Bengals just can't reel it in. Ownership never wants to spend the money to go and just keep their stars, and it's like, wow. I always call it scraps for stars. They want to give up scraps and they want to get stars, and it's like it just doesn't work like that all the time. Sometimes you got to just pay the money out and make it work, and it just ownership with the Bengals. It's a joke. It's a joke over there. But I digress. Speaking of joke ownership, Dallas Cowboys, and they go out and sign defensive end James Houston to a one-year deal, the former Detroit Lion. Interesting signing. I'm a little flabbergasted that James Houston was still out there. He's always been one of those players that, especially in Detroit, fans really thought that he was going to be like it. I remember growing up there, James Houston, everybody thought James Houston was going to be, there was going to be this explosion that just never happened. That never came around. And, we sit here now, and he's with the Dallas Cowboys, and it's got to be an interesting thing. I know they needed another defensive end. I know they're in the midst of a sort of a contract dispute with Micah Parsons.
Yep.
But, this is kind of an interesting little signing. He's only 26 years old. It might work out, right?
Yeah. And speaking of that contract holdout with Micah Parsons, if you want to highlight just how out of touch Jerry Jones is, there's an article in the Associated Press. He did an interview, and he goes, "There's nothing new about what we're talking about here today relative to contracts. That's been going on a long time now." Yeah, no kidding. In other words, water is wet. If you say, well, if you don't get him in, you're going to lose the first two games and go on to win the Super Bowl, well, we'll take that. Of course, here's the kicker, though. He was referencing the holdout from 1993 with Emmitt Smith. Newsflash, Jerry, that's when Jimmy Johnson was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, a reference to a Super Bowl, so I have to be right. Unless I'm mistaken. But the point is this. Jerry Jones is just, in his old age, he's just out of touch with reality. He doesn't realize that he has a star on his hands, a massive part of this Cowboys defense that, with all the parts that are leaving, the guard that's been there forever and a half, his name escapes me right now. He was his right guard, and he recently retired. Oh my God!
Giving me, I will find it. You continue that.
But you have, you still got DeMarcus Lawrence, but Dak Prescott still, sagging the team down with that ridiculous contract that Jerry Jones gave him.
I don't know how we couldn't think of Zach Martin.
Yeah, Zach Martin. I saw his face. His face was right in front of me. One of the greatest offensive guards of all time. But he's not there. That's the point. You need all the help you can get to keep this franchise from falling into the abyss. And I hate to say it, but boys fans, you're going to be entering a series of dark ages that you haven't seen since Detroit. We've been through this. We continue to live this from day to day. So, it's your turn to spin the drain into mediocrity.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys, Micah Parsons says there really hasn't been much movement on the contract front with the team. I think a big part of this equation is the contract that Jerry Jones gave up to Dak Prescott last year. And we've been so critical of Jerry Jones and that contract. He goes out and he gives up. It was a $60 million deal to Dak Prescott, $60 million per year. It was just a ridiculous knee-jerk reaction to Shedeur Sanders having himself a bad game back in week 2, because I believe that somewhere in Jerry's mind and a lot of other people's minds, Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be the heir apparent. And really what it turned into was, well, maybe Shedeur isn't it, after they saw that game, or that week 2 rough game, and let's knee-jerk reaction, go sign Dak Prescott. And they gave Dak Prescott all that money. They've got a lot of money wrapped up in certain players that it really shouldn't be wrapped up in. And now you're in a situation, and they might be a little bit against the cap here. They got to get Micah Parsons signed to a deal. It's just your defense runs through him. That's what it is. It doesn't run through Trayvon Diggs. It doesn't run through, any of the other players on that defense. It surely doesn't run through the other defensive end that you just signed to a long-term deal. It runs through Micah Parsons. And you got to get him signed. You just let Leighton Vander Esch walk out the door last year and go into retirement. I mean, it's baffling. The whole thing is baffling.
It is.
I don't understand what the Cowboys are thinking or what Jerry Jones is thinking half the time. I mean,
I don't really think he is. Period. That's another thing.
I'm with you. I'm like, where am I? That's kind of what.
Did I have my applesauce today?
But in any case, they get James Houston on the 1-year deal. Another team making moves, the Bears on the defensive side of the ball. They go out and sign corner Trey Flowers to a 1-year deal. As a corner, Trey Flowers, that's actually not too shabby of a signing here for the Bears. Not too shabby at all, especially considering they went and placed the corner Jalen Johnson, who is basically an all-pro. They placed him on the non-football injury list this past week. So, I mean, you get rid of you didn't really get rid of him, but you place Jalen Johnson, who's your basically your CB1, and you move him onto the NFI list. You go get Trey Flowers as the replacement. I mean, it's not really a 1-for-1, but I really do think that the Bears can get through really anything with their current roster construction, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Really, if you're a Bears fan here, I mean, you might have lost Khalil Mack to the Chargers. You might have done, you have in training camp, Caleb Williams, may not be looking as comfortable as people would hope that he would under a new offense with Ben Johnson, but. I don't think Bears fans should hit the panic button just yet. No way. But, it's interesting, me being a Detroit Lions fan, I remember that Trey Flowers used to play for Detroit, and he was the 5th highest.
Hang on, different Trey Flowers. There's 2 Trey Flowers. Flowers the defensive end and Trey Flowers the corner. Detroit had Trey Flowers the defensive end. Trey Flowers the corner, though, I mean, he's been around the league, something of a journeyman. I think he played for the Patriots. He did play for the Patriots at one point. Trey Flowers did. But just let me just food for thought on this one. And you tell me if you think that the Chicago Bears defense. You said they shouldn't hit the panic button, and I'm in agreement with you. I don't think they should be. But you tell me if you think that this Chicago Bears defense can hold up for a few weeks if, say, Jalen Johnson isn't available for the first couple of weeks. You have Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Gervon Dexter. You've got Deo Adangbo, Tremaine Edmonds, T.J. Edwards, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, and Trey Flowers. I'm sorry, you'll be just fine.
Yes. I mean, you had me at Josh Sweat.
You get Montez Sweat going, and I'm like, okay.
Montez Sweat, I apologize.
Yeah, Josh Sweat is the one that went to Arizona, but yeah, Montez Sweat is the hardcore blitzer. He's the guy that completely changed as soon as he came to Chicago. You remember The moment he got moved to Chicago, the whole Chicago defense became great. So, I mean, like, that's why, and then they added all these different pieces. Tremaine Edmonds, the former Buffalo Bill, Grady Jarrett, the former Atlanta Falcon. You get Kevin Byard, who's been all over this league and has been one of the best safeties in football. You have Tyreek Stevenson, who's actually a really good slot corner. They have good players. Jaquan Brisker was an All-Pro. I mean, like, he's an All-Pro safety. I mean, like, this is one of the better defenses in football, and people don't even realize it. As long as and a lot of it, look, we have given Eberflus a lot of problems, but as a defensive coach, he's a very good defensive coach, and he put together a really good defensive football team that people just don't give him credit for. So you got to give big ups to him at least for that. But they'll be able to survive with Trey Flowers. I have no doubt in my mind. Also, one-year deals going around for the Raiders. They go out, first of all, and they sign wide receiver Philip Dorsett to a one-year deal. Philip Dorsett is an interesting guy. Quietly, a very good wide receiver 3 in this league that people don't give enough credit to. Played for the Patriots, had a few big games for the Patriots. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he played for the Seahawks under the Pete Carroll regime, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to double-check my sources on it.
Yep, he played for the Colts, the Patriots, had a stint with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Seattle before going to Houston. And then last year he was with Denver.
Yeah, Philip Dorsett, journeyman receiver, a number 3 receiver. That stint with the Seahawks, that was under the Pete Carroll regime there, and he did quite well, if I'm not mistaken, filling in on a few occasions with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett being out, filled in quite well when, those guys went down. He was in the mix. I mean,
he played 2 games, had 1 target and a catch, so 100% reception rate for 3 yards. Maybe he did the whole Tom Brady, not Jim Brady or whatever, the guy from Buffalo. I apologize if it's.
And Philip Dorsett, throughout his career, he hasn't. I'm not going to sit here and say he's some kind of world beater because he's not.
No.
But if you look at his statistics, he hasn't been bad, and that's as a wide receiver 3. He is not a bad wide receiver 3. Indianapolis, 528 yards on the season. That's wide receiver 3 numbers. You look over at his time with the New England Patriots. He had some key catches, 29 targets. He had 397 yards. He had 5 touchdowns that year. That's wide receiver 3 numbers. These are, and that's what he's going to be brought in as. With Houston last year, he had 4 started games. He had 20 receptions for 257 yards and a touchdown. And that was in a crowded Houston wide receiver room. That's what it was. I like this signing a lot, and he's kind of a Pete Carroll kind of guy. I think this is going to be a good deal for him, and he goes to a Raiders team that is continuing to add. And Pete Carroll, man, he's one of those coaches where he pulls strange guys out of strange places and just makes them work. Yeah. And that's what I think is going on here. He also gets a 1-year deal done with the safety Jamal Adams. If Jamal Adams stays healthy, he's really good. Jamal Adams came to the Seattle Seahawks, prior in a trade with the New York Jets. He was with the Jets. Jets traded him to Seattle. He couldn't stay healthy over there. I believe last year he wound up with Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a good, hard-hitting safety. He knows Pete Carroll's system. They needed a safety with the Raiders, and he winds up in a good position. I think he's going to start from day one, and as long as he's healthy, the Raiders get a really good safety out of this deal. This is a smart move by Vegas, don't you think?
Absolutely. A team that is beleaguered, with. They're circling the bottom of the barrel in the AFC West for certain, and we weren't too kind to them during our playoff predictors, but you cannot deny that Jamal Adams doesn't have the pedigree. And he himself is a journeyman safety. He's played for both conferences, both AFC and NFC, and his last stint was with Detroit. He only played 2 games for Detroit, but his most proficient, years were with the New York Jets, obviously. But the numbers that I'm seeing here, again, it's for quality safety that you can get. Like I said, these 1-year deals, these small change deals. The word that was on my mind was chump change, but this isn't chump change. This is small change deals. That's the language we're going to use around here. But I think this guy. I've always been a proponent of saying they need all the help they can get. This is something they can help him with.
Yeah, I think this is a good deal. And Jamal Adams, when he's healthy, is one of the better safeties in football. The problem is he's almost never healthy, and that's always been the thing that hamstrung him and been a problem for him. With the New York Jets, he got the big money contract, and it just didn't pan out because he got the huge contract, and then it was just like, you're hurt all the time now. Ever since he put pen to paper, it was like, well, now I'm hurt. And he's had ACLs and he's had shoulders and he's had concussions and whatever else, and he's just a hard-hitting safety. To me, I think this could work as long as he's healthy, and that's going to be a big thing. Speaking of guys that need to be healthy, well, first of all, let's talk about this because while we're on the topic of the Raiders, we gotta chit chat about this. The Raiders have released their big free agent signing from last offseason, Christian Wilkins, the big defensive tackle, the former Miami Dolphin. He gets signed to the big deal with the Raiders. They have released him. He had a foot injury last season, late last year. The team is now seeking to avoid paying him the $35.25 million in guaranteed money. They're disputing how he rehabbed his foot last season after last season's injury. Wilkins did plan to start the season on the PUP list. The NFLPA has filed a grievance on his behalf. Here's my thing about this whole situation. First of all, you went and signed this huge free agent. This is the biggest name defensive tackle free agent that was available last year.
Yep.
You signed this outrageously giant contract. And then, after you sign him to this ridiculously giant contract and he gets hurt, which, players get hurt all the time. We see this all the time. Guys sign new deals. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes they get hurt. That's the risk you take with signing players off the free agency, and that's the risk you take in football.
Yep.
Okay. But he goes out, gets hurt, and they move on from him because he's going to start on the PUP list. And it was like, well, why are you getting rid of this guy? And Pete Carroll came out and said that he didn't really want to get rid of him, but
he didn't rush into the decision, to quote to paraphrase the NFL article. But come on.
I feel like this was pretty rushed. We're a week into training camp.
Yep.
It's not like we're a month into training camp at all here. We're about a week into training camp. The guy is hurt. He starts on the PUP list. To hell with him. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. What?
So we took, to quote Pete Carroll here, we took a long time to make our decision. What, about a week? We watched our way through the whole thing. We're keeping it really clear with what we said. I think there was no clear path to his return, so we just had to move on. What?
No clear path to his return. He's starting on the PUP list. He's rehabbing his foot injury.
How much clearer does it get?
Yeah, what? You got to let him rehab his injury. I don't understand it. And they're trying to say they don't disagree with the rehab and whatever the case may be. He's going to be back on the field, and they're probably going to have to pay him that $35 million. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Clown show. You talk about clown show ownership. This is we talk about it. It's like some people just don't have what it takes to own a football team.
Yeah, I'm convinced that the Raiders ownership has been just an atrocity for a long time.
Is there something about this we don't know? Why would the Raiders fumble this so horribly? Like we said, there is a path. We're setting him on the PUP list. He's going to rehab his foot. He'll get back on the field. Okay, fine. If he's got to take a pay cut, have him take a pay cut. But You're just booting him out the door. Ugh.
Yeah, and this is, you know, Spytech, the new GM over there. Look, I think he just made an ass of himself. If I'm being honest with you, I think he made an ass of himself, and I think this is kind of like old man Pete Carroll. Like we talk about these old ass retread coaches. This is kind of what it is. You got old man Pete Carroll trying to assert his dominance as a head coach, and I'm going to get rid of the biggest star on the team. Well, he's not going to. Yeah, okay, Pete, calm down. Go eat your applesauce and medicine. This was a stupid move. You let one of the best defensive tackles in the game walk out the door because you were upset that he wasn't going to be healthy enough for training camp. Like, calm down. Like, it seems so stupid to me. And now they're trying to make up some story about, he didn't rehab his foot how we wanted him to. Well, I think that's bullshit, and I think he's probably going to get paid. So the Raiders.
And that means, less money in your coffers. You get less cap space to deal with after this season. If you have a season to even boast about to begin with. And Las Vegas, I'm sorry, it's expensive real estate. How much longer is this team going to be able to maintain its footing at the Roomba Stadium at Allegiant? How can they continue to, keep the lights on? What if the guys that own the land at Allegiant Stadium just sit there and go, you know what? We can do better than this.
Yeah, the Raiders franchise for a long time. I mean, this has been garbage. It's been garbage, and they haven't done squat. I mean, I think I've seen them in what we've seen. I think it's one playoff appearance in the last 10 years.
That was the Tuck rule.
Yeah, well, no, in the last 10 years. It was a couple of years ago. They made it with an interim head coach, if you recall, with the Raiders. When McDaniels got let go, and they put the special teams coach in.
Oh yes.
And he actually led them to a little wild card appearance, and then they got hammered. But it was. I mean, I remember watching that game where they made the playoffs. It was Raiders Chargers Week 18.
Where the Chargers basically fumbled their way to not making the playoffs. So really, can you really credit the Raiders organization for making it to the playoffs, or do they owe the Chargers a thank you card?
It's sort of a little bit of both, but I can credit Rich Bisaccia because when he came as the special teams coach, came in as the interim head coach. That team did rally around Rich Bisaccia, so you got to give him that little bit of credit. But the Raiders, they're a joke of an organization, and here we are again, the joke of an organization doing stupid clown show things. Next up, the Steelers. This is another guy. We talk about injured players. A guy that has been dealing with a little bit of an injury bug, but he's a really good safety, and that's the Steelers signed former Ravens safety Chuck Clark to a 1-year deal. Interesting signing. A few years back, Tyler was really upset because one of their key safeties got hurt. Chuck Clark was really looking good during one of the games, and I said, Tyler, this Chuck Clark guy is pretty good. You really need to watch him. And he said, you don't know what you're talking about. This guy's trash. And about 3 weeks later, we were sitting on the show, and he was going, I was dead wrong. That Chuck Clark guy is pretty incredible. So Chuck Clark wound up getting a big deal with the Ravens. It was a multi-year deal. And then he winds up going over to the Steelers, going to the division rival. This works out well for the Steelers. Steelers needed a receiver. They let Minkah Fitzpatrick walk out the door. They didn't have, not a receiver. They needed a safety, rather. They let Minkah Fitzpatrick go out the door in the trade for Jalen Ramsey. So now they go out and get a safety to go alongside of Deshaun Elliott at the safety position, and they got their big-time corners. This makes it so Jalen Ramsey doesn't have to go back and play safety. You have two quality safeties in Deshaun Elliott and Chuck Clark. I like this combo in that secondary, and I think people aren't recognizing just how good of a combo it is. How about you?
Yep. One of the things we always say about the Steelers organization is that, they're one of the better run organizations in the NFL, in the league. And then, you get people that are smart, not just in the office, but also on the field. And we talk about Mike Tomlin. He's been a very major part of that team, head coach, and the coaches around. So they know what to do. They know how to put these pieces together. So
Yeah.
I'm scrolling up and down on NFL.com trying to find an article about Chuck Clark. But regardless, the point is made that the Steelers are making moves. They may not necessarily get to the playoffs. Scratch that. They do get to the playoffs. They just bounce in the first round. But they're a little. It's a little uncertain. With the Aaron Rodgers show, and then not Russ Wilson. Russ Wilson went to the Giants, and Justin Fields went to the Jets. So I don't know. So we don't know who So you have Aaron Rodgers running the show. I mean, that's great because he's one of the greatest of all time. He can make anything happen. And you have a defense that the Steelers have always had a passable to quality defense in the NFL. They call it the steel curtain for a reason. Yep.
They have a good defense, and one of the things, so they go out and they fortify that defense by on the back end. They've been fortifying that secondary all offseason. Then they go out and they sign edge rusher T.J. Watt, 3 years, $123 million extension, $41 million per year. So that was something that they did, right? So here's the thing. I'm not mad that they brought back T.J. Watt. I'm not mad at that.
Right.
What I am mad at is the price they did it for.
Yes.
Do not like this one bit. I think this is way too expensive. I think this is way too much for T.J. Watt. I think they just broke the bank for this guy. $41 million a year is a lot of money. That's a lot. I just think this is silly. Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a pretty extensive conversation offline, and I wanted to get better understand the opinion that you were coming from, because on the one hand, it's like, T.J. Watt's one of their best players, and obviously I was the biggest concern that I had, even before I started asking my questions, was what are you going to do with the cap space? You're not going to have any. I mean, with a contract this big, even if the salary cap goes up because of profits and everything, what cap space are you going to have to make moves in future seasons?
Yeah. If they front-loaded this deal, it would be one thing. Because, look at how the deal is set up. If they front-loaded this contract and you look at their current situation, you've got Aaron Rodgers on a $10 million deal, which is not a lot of money when it comes to a starting quarterback, right? And I think they improved their quarterback position this year. But now, you're looking at this edge rusher situation. If they do, a lot of people are saying they might have backloaded this deal. If they backloaded this deal, then on the last year of this contract, you're talking about almost $50 million going toward an edge rusher. And I'm sorry, I have a hard time paying an edge rusher that level of money. He's getting paid more. These two edge rushers, it's him and Myles Garrett right now, that are getting paid $41 million a year. And it's just flabbergasting to me. I don't think that an edge rusher is more valuable than a wide receiver. You've got both guys getting paid $4 and $5 and $6 million more than Justin Jefferson, than CeeDee Lamb, than Jamar Chase. They're getting paid more money. They're getting $10 million more than Garrett Wilson right now. Why is the edge rusher position suddenly the hot position? And why is the edge rusher position so much more valuable than wide receivers? I don't think that should be the case. And the edge rushers, they're disruptive. They get
to the quarterback. If they sack the quarterback, they shut the play down. But
I get it, but I don't find that level. Like, I could see him getting paid the same amount, but $6 million more than I'm sorry, Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in football. How is Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt, who's on the wrong side of 30, how are guys getting paid that level of money more
than some of the best players in the game, the best offensive players in the game. It just seems
It-
silly.
Here's something else to consider, and we'll segue this into another story. But before I do, there's another point that needs to be made about this. You just mentioned it, the wrong side of 30. Here's something else to consider. They're not playing for championship caliber teams. Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns are one of the jokes of the organization. Yeah, and I guess that one of the reasons why they're such a joke is because they're dumping money onto one player when they need. With rookie defensive tackle Derek Harmon, cornerback Darius Slay, safety Juwan Thornhill. Excuse me.
Thornhill's going to end up being a backup. Now it's going to be Chuck Clark, I'm sure. I think Chuck Clark is going to start over this. My thing about the Steelers is, so Aaron Rodgers is going to leave. And I agree with you, you got Will Howard kind of sitting in the wings, but I don't know, like the Steelers have always started these obscure quarterbacks, especially over the last 5-6 years. We've seen these just obscure quarterbacks going out there. Oh, we're going to start Kenny Pickett. Oh, we're going to start, Mason Rudolph. And for whatever reason, somehow, by hook or by crook, they just seem to make it work, right? Oh, we're going to start Russ Wilson this year. Oh,
Yeah. Last year was the whole thing. Oh, who's going to start, Russ Wilson or Justin Fields?
Right.
And ended up. We thought, oh, Justin Fields is going to take that position away, and nope, Russ held on to it.
Yeah, and it's just it's an interesting thing here, and you'll have to excuse me. I'm opening this wonderful.
Sponsor break.
Zero sugar Dr. Pepper, and I'm so excited to try it. This will be the first time I've ever had it. But anyway, you've got this Steelers team who is. I feel like they're just like kind of like the Seahawks were, and I've said this in the past. They're kind of like the Seahawks used to be. The Seahawks were this team for a long time that were just trying to stay relevant, right? And they're we'll just as long as we make the playoffs, we're good, And it's like, wait,
that's not a long-term mentality that you need to have. I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust. I mean, everybody talks about that. Oh, it's good enough to get to the playoffs. All right. That makes zero sense. Now, with this deal with T.J. Watt, we're sitting here going, okay, this is too much money. This doesn't make any sense. You want to know what deal does make sense? Go ahead and let's do a comp here. If you can pick up what I'm putting down here.
Well, yeah, there's a deal that does make sense, and it's the Chiefs. And this is why the Chiefs are a quality organization. This is why the Chiefs win all the time. This is why the Chiefs wind up, having, quality players on their team, and they're always up, in the right spot in the cap. They go out and sign defensive end George Karlaftis to a 4-year, $93 million extension. It's $62 million guaranteed, right? So you got this guy for, $22 million a year, $23 million a year, 23 and a half. I mean, think about that. And George Karlaftis, and for all of you who are forgetting about George Karlaftis from Purdue, George Karlaftis is a guy that in the playoffs this year tore it up. In the playoffs, George Karlaftis was a force.
An absolute monster.
Yeah, and people didn't even think about it. He went out there, he was sacking the quarterback. He made plays that closed out games in the playoffs this last year. George Karlaftis is a beast, and I was talking about him. Boots was talking about him, and I was talking about him, about how good this guy was. And, man, he showed that he is worth every bit of that extension. He deserved that extension like you wouldn't believe. I love George Karlaftis. The Chiefs go out and they get themselves a good player. And then on top of it, you want to talk about, again, another player getting a good contract, and the Chiefs get a very team-friendly contract here. They go out and sign offensive guard Trey Smith to a 4-year, $94 million extension. That's $3.5 million per year, $70 million. So you get him, another guy, another key player, another guy that was on, along with Creed Humphrey, was on our top rookie list the year he came out. Trey Smith comes out and, fortifies that interior offensive line. He's been one of the best guards in football, and you get him on a cap-friendly deal for $23.5. That's a very team-friendly contract. Both these contracts are. This is brilliant.
This is why the Chiefs are the creme de la creme in the NFL, because they go out and they sign these good contracts, like the one for George Karlaftis. They signed a good contract like the one for Trey Smith. Both of them very team-friendly deals, and they wind up being on top all the time because they're never over the cap, and they wind up having the best players on team-friendly deals. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. And the deal here too is, the question that's raised with me is, you're getting guys like T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett getting 40 million a year. And Karlaftis, he's a workhorse. Since I'm quoting this NFL article directly. Since being drafted by the Chiefs, Karlaftis has recorded 115 tackles, 56 quarterback hits, 24 and a half sacks, and 24 tackles for loss in 49 regular season games. And he contributed 4 sacks, 4 TFLs, and 8 quarterback hits over the Chiefs' 2 Super Bowl runs in 22 and 23. And he's 24 years old. And he's 13th among 211 edge rushers with 61 pressures, and that's according to Pro Football Focus. A guy like that who gets a team-friendly deal, like you said, $22 million a year. Do you think he starts getting a little salty knowing that, bigger names seem to be getting more money, but I'm the workhorse and I'm, is the culture in Kansas City good enough and robust enough to let a player like that know, hey, this is what the market is. Those other teams are paying way too much because they think that a name is going to help them win games, but we know what's going on. How do you think that they handle that situation?
I think this is all about winning at this point. It's about winning. And the Chiefs, they want to win, and these players want to play for a team that's winning. And that's exactly what's happening. These players are taking team-friendly deals to win. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. They want to win. Why wouldn't you take the team-friendly deal if you want to win? I mean, Tom Brady, we saw Tom Brady do it for years. He took a team-friendly contract, team-friendly deal for the sake of winning, right? So, yep. I mean, these players are winning. The Chiefs are winning. They've been in, 3 Super Bowls in a row at this point? They're winning. So, I mean, why wouldn't you take it? I get the logic. And with Trey Smith, I mean, same thing. Winning. I want to go and play with the best quarterback. I want to go play with the best center in football in Creed Humphrey. I want to go out and play with the best, players and the best coach. I want to be in the best spot to win. So I'm going to take the right deal. And joining me to my left right now is the Bootleg Bettor who has just arrived. Boots, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, better late than never. Yeah, here we go. What you can't do, you can't play my position. It's not for a spine lacker. Hello, my name is Will Mike Sam, linebacker. I'm the Oklahoma drill. Hope your chin stays strapped. Keep the ball high and tight or stick it up your A-gap. Your coach already warned you, said, son, you'll see him soon. I'll jump off the tape and sack you in the film room. Because every single play in my mind is 4th and goal. Who else you know that can stop Bo and Tecmo Bowl? I'm about to lose control for that down said it. You've been out of pocket. Time for the outside blitz. Hey, man, Steele got the juice. Fraytown beside me. I'm the Bootleg Bettor. Beat you 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell. Let's go.
Yeah, baby. There it is. The Bootleg Bettor bringing the heat. Welcome back to the show, Boots.
Yeah, training camp start.
Training camp start. We're
I
fired
ain't playing
up.
it with y'all.
We're fired up.
Let's go.
We're fired up. And you know what? We were talking about George Karlaftis, that excellent deal that he got. We're talking about, Trey Smith, the excellent deal that he got. I mean, this is where it's at, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to
You
win.
were just saying you want to win. You want to take that team-friendly deal. It's nice to get some pocket change for yourself, but Patrick Mahomes told those guys last year or the year before, whatever, let's get back here again and win another one, and I'll come back and pay for everybody.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
It didn't end up happening thanks to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles,
right?
But you still want to come out and win.
Yeah, you want to do it again, right? You want to go and win, and that's exactly what it is. It's a winning culture over there.
Mm-hmm.
Of winning.
They're gonna win again.
Hey, and speaking of winning culture, the Chiefs they sort of get a win here. It's sort of a loss, but it's sort of a win. Rashee Rice, he winds up his sentence was actually very light from the collision from last year. It was involving a serious bodily injury and racing on a highway. Rice pleads guilty. He was driving a Lamborghini Urus SUV at 119 miles an hour.
You big dummy.
Yeah, but just a dummy thing. He's sentenced to 30 days in jail, 5 years of probation for his role in the multi-car crash that happened. So, I mean,
That's sad news.
I didn't have to pay for everybody, but
pay for everybody's car.
Yeah,
they got stolen.
That's basically it. I mean, he winds up 30 days in jail, slap on the wrist. I mean, given the circumstances, that's a win for the Chiefs again. Given what could have gone down there. I mean,
well, you want to know what else is a win for the Chiefs? Apparently, he's going to participate in training camp despite his jail sentence.
Yeah.
Chiefs coach Andy Reid said Sunday, 3 days after the standout wide receiver was sentenced to 30 days in jail, will be a full participant in training camp. So, you want to talk about a winning culture. Andy Reid knows that, okay, yeah, he might have done something stupid and he needs to pay his debt to society, but he is also a key cog in our offense, and we want to make sure he's ready to go for the regular season.
Yeah, he's going to be, and that's an interesting thing. The question becomes, how many games he's going to be suspended for, if any. But I mean, a 30-day slap on the wrist for him, and he still gets to participate in training camp in the process.
How long, Zoom?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, but he still gets to participate.
Well, so this is kind of comparable to another issue that's happening in the league. If I may jump, just zap to this story real quick. Jordan Addison and his DUI situation, where it was mentioned that if he were to get convicted, which he's looking to plea down and get out of the back door that way. But if he were to get convicted of having the DUI, he'd be flat 3 games suspended.
Right.
So
he has resolved the 2024 DUI case.
Yes.
He has pled guilty, no contest, to a far lesser charge. So he might wind up with a little bit of a suspension there. We don't know. But we do know that there's not going to be any, jail time or anything like that for old Jordan Addison. He'll be ready to rock and roll. I think that was probably the smart play there.
Yes. Take the small L. Take the small L early. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I mean, that's you understand that the season's right around the corner. You got the Hall of Fame game is in 6 days. Which, I mean, that's just an important benchmark to let everybody know, hey, heads up, we're going to get into preseason pretty soon. We're going to have full pads on and we're going to be on TV. I mean, it's
is acceptable. None of this is okay, but
no.
At the end of the day, when it comes to for the team, even though you're getting the L here of your player possibly getting suspended and the bad press, or your player doing something absolutely friggin' stupid, at the end of the day, to get a slap on the wrist in this whole thing, I mean, you basically got away at that point. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, not at all. When you play in the NFL, just about it. We've seen a lot of everything in the NFL for a lot of years.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things, right?
Yep, guys get away with it.
And it's been happening for a lot of these guys since they were 15 years old. Oh, you're good at football. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you go have fun.
You can run. You can run fast. You can catch a ball. You can throw it really far. Do whatever you want to do. We'll just continue to close our eyes or look the other way.
Brush it under the rug.
Keep on letting you do what you do.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, these dudes just feel like they're invincible and nothing can ever happen to them. And nothing. I mean, ask what's my man Leonard Little?
Yeah.
Right. Who was that receiver for the Browns that killed that lady?
Oh goodness. Well, it was the Raiders killed Henry. It was Henry Ruggs that killed a lady.
Just a few years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he wound up being in jail, but now he's out. He's out of jail and getting ready to try and make a return to the NFL. I mean,
how?
Exactly. I don't know. He says he plans to try and make a return. So I mean, who knows?
How about you trying to make him in?
Yeah, that should be thing number one. Moving into the speaking of guys that think they're going to only get a slap on the wrist, here's one guy who is actually getting a little more than a slap on the wrist at this point. Browns draft pick running back Quinshawn Judkins. He got arrested for battery and domestic violence charges.
You big dummy.
Yeah, Andrew Berry, the Browns general manager, indicates he doesn't expect to see Judkins on the field anytime soon. Quinshon Judkins still hasn't signed his rookie scale contract.
Yikes.
Still has not signed his rookie scale contract.
Trust me, I'm thinking the Browns are reworking this year, right? They had a horrifically bad contract come into town a few years ago, right? And you saw what happened with that, right? So maybe, just maybe, we keep our noses clean. Maybe, just maybe, we start doing some business the right way. And this guy, who, once again, just talking about guys who maybe think that they can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
First, let me just say, just walk away. How about that? Walk away.
Walk away.
And then you don't have to worry about these things. Right?
And you know what? Listen, Judkins not having his deal signed right now after he was a second-round draft pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
You know what? I made the prediction last show, and I'll say it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dylan Sampson time. Oh, that's what it is. It's Dylan Sampson time.
No, you gotta roll forward out the door like that.
It's Dylan Sampson time. You don't draft 2 running backs in the draft if you plan to have Jerome Ford hanging around.
Of course they are. Or else they would have got rid of them already.
I don't know. I think they're
Well,
good.
Jerome Ford remains out, but is progressing and close to returning per head coach Kevin Stefanski. So, but we got to keep running that through our BS to English translators, and the more you sit there and think about it, I mean, it may very well be Dylan Sampson time. So when the gates open and the season starts and you see that guy on the field, be prepared to hear the timeless phrase that we've said all these years. What did I say? What did I say?
It's legendary phrase.
Yeah, it is legendary on this show.
It's very good out of Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
You got some speed, the balance, the vision. I like his game a lot. But again, Jerome Ford, he's still there. They would have gotten rid of him if not, if he was bad, right, they would have gotten rid of him. But here's the thing about Judkins. When the Browns decide, okay, here's what's going on with this guy, maybe let's take a little bit of the money out, take a little bit of this out, maybe some, and load it up with some more incentives, right?
Yeah.
Hey, don't get in trouble. Hey, you have to do these anger management courses or whatever they might, different language they might put in the new contract.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
To change it to make sure that they're not going to be on the bad end of this.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that going on. It's kind of an interesting situation with the Cleveland Browns, but I mean, they took their shotgun approach really in both the draft and free agency. Right. The shotgun approach in both the quarterback position and the running back position in the draft and free agency this year. I mean, right now it's their quarterback room. I've said it before. It looks like the island of misfit toys out there, and now you've got this running back room that seems to be falling apart at the seams. You've got injured Jerome Ford. You got Quinshon Judkins, who hasn't signed his rookie scale contract, and then who's left? Oh, it's Dylan Sampson. It's honestly starting to
process of elimination, kids.
I'm looking over and I'm just kind of going.
I'm looking at that quarterback room and I'm going, the Mr. Toy knows, the one boy that you should be putting on the field and playing with
is Shedeur Sanders.
Like I said. I got it day one.
Yeah, you have been. I want to see if it works out for old Shedeur here. Speaking of running backs, by the way, we have a couple of running backs that have shown up to camp amid their contract disputes.
Yes.
James Cook shows up to the Bills training camp. Kyren Williams shows up to the Rams training camp. Both of them have shown up. They're still going to come out there and they're going to play in spite of the contract disputes.
Spoiler alert. Both of them will be featured a little bit later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that, fellas. I not want to play without getting that pay.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I don't know about that. According to Nick Shook around the NFL, James Cook is quoted as saying, we have talks. I'm never going to give up. I mean, I deserve it. What I want, what I need, it's going to eventually happen. And it goes further to say his logic of reporting on time and fully participating in practice is simple. It's what he signed to do. So if you look at it that way, you know, James Cook is sitting there going, okay, you know, I'm going to earn this bag by being a working man. I'm going to let them know through my actions that I deserve, that I have earned and deserve, you know, the contract that I'm looking for. So there's many ways that players go through this. I mean, Trey Hendrickson's holding out. You know, Shamar Stewart's holding out till he just signed. You know, or you know, a couple hours before this show began. But you know, some people hold out, and some people show up and show out.
The thing about James Cook, the thing about his situation, I think he is kind of in a position with the Bills where the Bills are kind of peeking over his shoulder and saying, "Hey, I got that guy out of Kentucky there, and I Ray Davis out there, and I could just turn him loose." Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of saying that. I think they're kind of looking over and going, "Hey, I got that young guy here. I don't have to pay." And what James Cook is asking right now is, I believe it's 15 to 16 million. We don't have to choke up that kind of money to what is now considered in today's NFL a non-premium position.
Right.
And I mean, that's what it's considered. It's considered. I mean, to you and I, it's laughable, but I know what the thought process is of a lot of these GMs. It's considered a non-premium position. I mean, tell that to Saquon Barkley, right? But
tell that to Derrick Henry. Tell that to Run CMC.
Exactly, guys that have gotten paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But by and far, the running back position is behind on the pay scale from other positions right now. And a lot of it has to do with the injury and whatnot, the injury bug that goes on at that position. If you ask me, James Cook should be paid. I just don't know who's going to pay him. And I don't know that it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. Because if I'm Buffalo Bills and I've got Ray Davis sitting there, I'm considering Ray Davis. I'm considering Ray Davis possibly after this season. But it's nice to have a guy there like Ray Davis who, when he has had to come in, has played very well behind James Cook. And I think a lot of people kind of recognize, you know, those couple of carries that he had, and I think he started a game, if I'm not mistaken, when James Cook went down for a couple of games, started a game or two, and everybody saw this explosiveness from this guy. It was very Kyren Williams-like when you know, Cam Akers was injured. We saw Kyren Williams come in week 1, and everybody's going, "Who the hell is this Kyren Williams kid?" And he's tearing it down. Boots knew exactly who Kyren Williams was, kid out of Notre Dame. I was like, who the hell is this kid, and where the hell did he come from? Because Cam Akers was supposed to be the guy this year, and then it turned into the Kyren Williams show, right? Mm-hmm. I think Ray Davis runs very similarly to Kyren Williams. And I think we saw the same type of explosiveness that we saw to Kyren Williams in that first season out of Ray Davis. I think the Bills are considering him. Don't be surprised if James Cook isn't a Bill after this year. Boots, what do you think?
It would be a stupid decision by Buffalo. Because, look, we'll get into a little bit later, but he showed all season why he should be asking for what he's asking for.
Yeah.
It's not his fault that the I don't want to ruin it. It's not his fault that they kept robbing him of carries using Josh Allen.
Yeah, I can agree with that too.
So, and Ray Davis, and man, I talked about Ray Davis last season? Last season. Right before, he was A-list all-star running back, right?
Yep.
Number 5 on the list. But I talked about Ray Davis from Temple to Vanderbilt to Kentucky and just putting up numbers after numbers at each stop, put up numbers, and then he gets to into Buffalo. Now, listen, if you're Buffalo, you've got an opportunity here to keep the rookie scale with Ray Davis and still pay James Cook.
Yeah.
You have that ability. Teams do it all the time. You just have to know what you're doing. And then he gets in at Buffalo. I don't know.
I mean, Buffalo's kind of interesting. I mean, they have seemed like they know what they're doing for the last few years. I would kind of think for the last 5-6 years. Really, they've seemed like they know what they're doing.
So they play Kansas City.
Yeah, then it goes to hell in a handbasket. But I digress. James Cook and Kyron Williams have shown up to camp. So that's a big W for them, getting those guys showing up to camp.
All right, don't twist the ankle, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all I got to say. Don't have a catastrophic injury so they can look, well, because you said a couple of zeros off of that contract.
two guys that are getting paid, though. Two guys well, first of all, let's talk about this because while we're on the topic of the Bills. Bills rookie defensive end Landon Jackson has been placed on the PUP list of head of training camp, calf injury. So that's kind of a nerve-wracking thing. Guy we were really big on in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Very big on coming out of the combine. Had a great
Oh, no!
Yeah, great Senior Bowl, great combine, looked great. I mean, he's got a calf injury. We're going to kind of see what happens there, see if he can get on the field. But I still think that he's going to wind up being a stud for them down the line. So pay attention to what's going on with Landon Jackson. He was a steal.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it was an absolute star. That was the exact word that if you were to describe him in one word, it's star. And he looked like it. I mean, and for a defensive end, he almost kind of looked like a linebacker or a safety. The guy was built very well. He ran really, really fast. He's going to go very fast. So.
Yeah. The way he plays, he's very technically sound.
Yes.
And that's one thing I really like about him. Technically sound, high motor type of guy. And I loved everything I saw. The athleticism for us coming out of the combine. Like you said, Boots, the Senior Bowl, he lived in the back.
He did. I'm thinking that the Bills looked at that like, hey, here's Von Miller again.
Yeah.
Right? I think they were trying to get that Von Miller matchup with the Landon Jackson. But, with that calf injury, that sucks. Hopefully the rest of his cattle are just fine.
I hate that so much.
You got beef with that?
Unbelievable. Two guys that are getting signed and getting paid, though. Let's talk about them. First of all, the Jets signed corner Sauce Gardner to a 4-year, $120.4 million extension, $30.1 million per year. Sauce Gardner getting paid, and he's damn worth it.
The Sauce Boss. Absolutely. One of my favorite players.
You know who I hate this signing for? Is Sauce Gardner.
Why?
Because he's playing for the New York Jets.
Oh, that is true.
And I hate it also for this next guy. The Jets also signed wide receiver Garrett Wilson to a 4-year, $130 million deal. $32.5 million per year. I hate it because of the team they're playing for.
Yes.
Because I really don't like the Jets, and I think they're just a government cheese, garbage organization, right?
Yep.
But if you look at what these two players bring to the table, they're worth every penny. This is absolutely 1,000% what these guys need to be getting paid. I think Garrett Wilson could have stood to make maybe about $1 million more. But, I mean, look, Garrett Wilson's a hell of a player. He's put up good numbers with this hodgepodge of quarterbacks that he's had over the last several years of his career. And now he finally gets the extension that he deserves. Like I said, I don't like him playing for the Jets. I would love to see him elsewhere, but he gets his deal.
Well, and the only other problem that you're going to run into with that Myles Garrett's going to run into, he's got a quarterback that dislocated his toe. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. The Jets, Garrett Wilson, he gets signed to the big deal, but then Garrett Wilson also gets a quarterback, Justin Fields. He gets carted off of the training camp field yesterday due to a dislocated toe. He did return to practice today, so that's a good thing. But I mean, that
happened to me one time.
A dislocated toe?
Yeah, I kicked somebody in the butt and ended up in
the joke fizzled, kids.
Completely in a different spot.
Oh, dislocated. But my thing is,
he was back there.
how do you dislocate a toe? I don't think I've ever heard of it. Like, what do you got? Like finger toes? Like, what the hell is going on?
Well, probably, I would guess, running, maybe a slide, maybe a practice slide, something like that. They didn't elaborate as to
how the injury occurred.
No, they just said he got carded for it.
You sit here and the word cart comes up in general conversation. What are we thinking? Oh, he blew his knee out. Oh, he broke his leg. Oh, he blew his ACL. Oh, no, he dislocated his toe. So,
No.
I mean, so is this is a case of good news, bad news? Oh, good news. I mean, he's fine. He's got a dislocated toe. Okay, but is he really a wimp? It's like, hey, wait a minute. If he's going to get carted off the field for a dislocated toe, what does that say about his toughness?
Yeah, yes, and that's kind of a question. I mean, I can't speak to it because I've never had a dislocated toe. I've had dislocated fingers. I've had a dislocated shoulder, but I've never had a dislocated toe. So I can't really tell you how awful it might be. But he does go and get carted, and then he's back on the field today. So the fact that he's back on the field today after dislocating his toe, I mean, that shows some grit. I can give him that.
I mean, here's the other thing that that it kind of encompasses this. The concerns are, Tyrod Taylor was the guy that was taking backup snaps while Justin Fields was sitting in the locker room getting his toe relocated. So you got. Jordan Travis from Florida State. Is he still with the team? I know I've asked this question before.
He is a medical retirement. That's what it was.
So he retired. Okay, which that's sad because I really wanted to see this guy. I really wanted to see what this guy could do, because he was great at Florida State. But you have Tyrod Taylor and you have Justin Fields. Throwing the ball to Myles Garrett here, going back to Myles Garrett. Garrett Wilson, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. But that's the point, though. You got two mid-grade to lower grade quarterbacks throwing to this top-tier receiver. So it does underscore, the gripes that we have for both Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson.
I will say this, Boots, you are much bigger on Justin Fields than me.
Yeah, he's been getting a raw deal since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears never supported him, right?
That's true.
Philosophies, changing alignment. They never invested in the offensive line. He was running for his life so much of the time, and the Bears' offensive line hadn't been that much better, right? They did sign a couple of guys this offseason, but right? Now, Joe Tooney, of course, top of the line.
Yeah.
But everything else on that offensive line, wait and see for me, right? But
I like everything we did on their offense. I think the Bears are going to be disgustingly improved this year.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I'm capping it at 8. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. You got a rookie head coach. You got a second-year quarterback. You got a brand-new defensive coordinator. You got a bunch of new people coming in, a lot of moving parts. And until those parts get settled, I don't see any more than 8 wins. And that's being generous, right? But I'm looking at Justin Fields not being supported by any team he's gone to, right? And now, because they gave him that money, they gave him the deal, now I think he now has a sense of nobody's looking over my shoulder. I don't have to worry about who's coming off the bench, right? And I can actually focus on the game and the task at hand. Now, I will say this. Who else is in that quarterback room? Adrian Martinez. And
UFL Adrian Martinez.
Yes. And the rookie I was high on last season and the season before that. Last season was a little rough because he got injured, but I think he played through those injuries and it kind of hurt him. But Brady Cook out of Missouri. He's there too. And I really like Brady Cook.
I don't. Not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Who else was throwing to Luther Burden III?
I don't know. All I know is that Brady Cook did not look good in the combine. But I digress.
He looked spectacular in this game, and he did look good at the combine.
There was one guy that really caught my eye.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
And you don't like him. But in any case.
It's not that I don't like him. But if he were as good as you think he is, Minnesota would have won more games.
Look, he looked good at the combine. I'm just saying. And that's why he's a Viking right now. But in any case, That is a thing. So we got the Jets making some moves. That's a nice little positive thing, I guess.
Hold on.
For
And
the New York Jets.
real quick about the Jets. They needed to keep those two guys. Those are
Cornerstone players.
guys
Yeah.
that you need to have in the building. Young guys that can grow within the organization. New coach, new staff, and I'm betting Sauce Gardner's going to play a whole lot of one-on-one, a whole lot of man, because that's what Aaron Glenn coaches. That's what he played.
And that's what Sauce does. That's what he does.
You know what I mean?
He's good one-on-one.
And we'll see if he,
Yep. Other players getting signed to contracts. We got one more. The Packers go out and signed their offensive tackle, Zach Tom, to a 4-year, $88 million extension, a $30.2 million bonus. That is the largest bonus in NFL history for an offensive lineman. This is a huge contract for them. Zach Tom last year, 87.5 overall PFF grade, 82.1 pass blocking, 90 run blocking grade. He had himself a hell of a year last year as an offensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers.
What's his name?
Zach Tom. Zach Tom.
I'm tiptoeing out the bank if you don't speak to me.
He played 1,068 snaps last year. This could be finally the guy that they finally got somebody to replace David Bakhtiari after all these years.
Yeah, and when you saw what happened in the playoffs, it really highlighted why the Packers needed to draft more offensive linemen.
Yep.
Which they did. And when Zach Tom went out, not Zach Tom, the other tackle, when he went out, it hurt.
It's painful. Very painful.
Hurt the Packers.
But this is we talk about cornerstone players. This is a cornerstone offensive lineman, right?
Exactly. And the Packers have traditionally, especially in the last 10 years or so, really invested and really kept a really good foundation for the offensive line.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing here. I like this signing. I think it's really excellent. Also, another signing that goes on, the Saints go out and sign defensive end Jonathan Bullard to a 1-year deal. Interesting to get Jonathan Bullard so late as a defensive end. You go out and also with the Saints, they've been making a lot of defensive moves lately. They got that, but they also so the Saints have a lot of defensive moving parts right now. Safety Tyrann Mathieu has retired after 12 seasons, so he's out the door. So the Honey Badger's gone. So the Saints in turn go out and sign safety Julian Blackmon to a 1-year deal, which I really like. He played 5 seasons with the Colts previously. I like Julian Blackmon. He's a good safety, but the Honey Badger has retired. Kind of an interesting thing for the old Saints here. And Jonathan Bullard, though, I do like this signing. Quietly a really good signing. Played really well for the Vikings. I know all about Jonathan Bullard. He's a good player.
Yeah, he is. But Honey Badger, it's sad.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's been at the top of the game for a very long time.
Yep.
Right? He's been a nuisance, right? It's a good thing that he was a nuisance in the secondary, right? Instincts, right? That was the key to his game. I think it was instincts. It wasn't always just the best technique and the best fundamentals, but he knew where to be, when to be, and he had a knack for turning the ball over.
Big tackler as well. Hard-hitting tackle.
He was getting in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he wasn't afraid of the contact. He wasn't afraid of the moment. But he was one of those guys that you could depend on when the moment got big. He did too.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs, did he not? Was he on the Chiefs Super Bowl team? I thought he was. I thought he got signed to a deal with that.
Take my mental roll with that.
Yeah, I'd have to look and check.
I'm checking my mental roll with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to the end of it. I have to read it.
Let me see. Tyrann Mathieu. I'm checking now. Yeah, he has 1 Super Bowl ring with the Chiefs.
Well, there you go.
Yep. He won a Super Bowl with them. But he did play with the Chiefs from 2019 to 2021. So he does have a ring. So that's a big thing. The Saints, he leaves. The thing about his retirement is kind of. I feel like it's like I'm with the friggin' Saints right now. Like, would you want to play for the Saints? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that is very quickly going back to their Aints roots. their pre-Katrina roots. I hate to say it, but that's what happened. But it's like, yeah, I mean, so it gets, and then you have the quarterback room that basically is the island of misfit toys. We use that term a lot for a couple of different entities in the NFL, but this is the Saints quarterback room definitely earns that moniker. You got Spencer Rattler, you got and no, probably I don't even think you really have anybody else. You got who got drafted? The name escapes me. Tyler Shuck. Yeah, who? It's like, what are we doing with that guy? Tyler Yuck. So,
It's a disaster. It's a disaster in New Orleans. They have set themselves up for disaster. They've been sitting in the cap hell for a long time, and every year I feel like they find a way to dig themselves out just enough to be under the cap before the season starts. Yeah. It's every season.
And a smart player with the years that Matthew has been in the league, he knows, right? This team is no, right? So do I give my body another year of punishment for a team who I know isn't going to win this year?
Yep. Or do I go home?
You know what I mean? My knees hurt. Like, my horse is sick, right?
Pritchard, my horse is sick.
So he's got to go, right? And it's sad, man.
Yep.
And we've come
to
the
end. While we're on this whole thing, while we're on retirements, let's get them all out of the way. First of all, Browns linebacker Jordan Hicks has retired after 10 seasons, so he's officially done. So Hicks is a good player, and he played for the Eagles. Really good middle linebacker, and also Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams retires after 8 seasons. Just came back to the Chargers this past offseason. Decides to retire. Just rides off into the sunset. He's done. Also, defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh has announced his retirement after 13 seasons. So you've lost 4 players. Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know if I have 4 verses. Let me
you don't need 4 verses.
Real quick about it. And Ndamukong Suh, and Dominant Suh.
Yeah.
Right?
Love
and
Dominant.
That was my guy because he did not care. He's that dude that you want on your team, but you don't want to play against him.
Yeah.
Right? He's the epitome of that kind of guy. And those are the guys that you want in the locker room. Those are the guys you want on the team. And those are the guys that, make their mark in the league. And he did. He got a Super Bowl.
He was a filthy player. Like some of the things he would do, like I always laughed a little bit. Wherever he went, whether it was in Detroit, whether it was Tampa, wherever he was, he would always do these things where he breaks through the line and everybody, like, he'd get called for a late hit. And everybody like, why are they calling him for a late hit? Yeah. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, bro, I could have stood there and gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the hit happens. The ball is gone, that whole time. And he just didn't give a shit. He's just going to hit you. And it was just like, golly.
Stepped on Aaron Rodgers' hand or something?
Yeah, stepped on it. Well, he stepped on Bakhtiari. I think he stepped on his leg as he was walking through, and he ninja kicked the quarterback in the nuts the one time. I mean, he didn't even care.
Give me that Dennis Rodman treatment. I'm gonna be here all day.
Yeah, he's a great player. It's just like, man, oh man, he's just gonna brutalize you. So those 4 guys have all retired. Jordan Hicks, great middle linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a really good pass coverage middle linebacker. Really liked his game. Hard tackler. Really put up some really great numbers throughout his years. Led the team in tackles, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of times over there with Philadelphia. He's a really great linebacker. The fact that he's gone after 10 seasons, I feel like this is very similar to Tyrann Mathieu, where it's like, this team ain't winning. This team is done. I'm not going to sit here with the Browns. Let's just put me out of my misery here. And then Mike Williams goes to a winning team. Yeah, I mean, his knee was a little banged up, and I feel like Mike Williams, there was a lot of excitement when he came out in the draft all those years ago. It was 8 years ago now.
Close.
And then he just never panned out. It was just injury after injury after injury after injury. The guy just couldn't stay healthy in the league. It was like, what?
Yeah, it seemed like that for a little bit, but he did put up some some eye-popping plays, a downfield threat, red zone threat, big body receiver, huge catch radius, and could get deep on you if you slept on it.
Yeah, when he was healthy, Mike Williams was great.
Yeah.
You know, there were those moments where,
Nailed out Phillip Rivers.
yeah, quite a few times. I mean, there were a lot of moments where you know, the number one receiver would go down, Mike Williams is your number two, and he put up huge numbers. I mean, we saw it all the time. So here we go again. You know, the Mike Williams gone, and it's just, it sucks if you're if you're the Chargers, because you picked him back up hoping that he was going to be your number two.
Maybe they did that because they knew. Maybe just thinking outside the bunch. Maybe.
In the ether.
In the ether.
My mind travels to the ether. It brings back all kinds of revolutionary ideas. But
They were hoping he was going to be behind the conquer.
maybe it was, hey, listen, I can't do this anymore. My horse is sick. I want to retire.
I mean,
I
maybe.
can see it.
Maybe.
I can see it. The organization wants to, hey, you know, we do you a solid, sign you.
Because he left last year, you know, and he was gone. But it was just like,
Can you go to Pittsburgh?
I think it might have been Pittsburgh, or yeah, it might have been Pittsburgh. But he takes off, and he winds up, you know, coming back to the Chargers, and that's that. You know, I don't know. I feel bad for the Chargers really more than anything, because you know, they were looking for that number two, and it seemed like they had their number two, and the guy that's going to be behind the conky here, who just came off that hellacious season that he had. I mean, he tore it up, and here we are. You know, it's just unbelievable. So they go out and they lose their number two guy. Just a sad state of affairs there. Speaking of a sad state of affairs,
So you, Quinn.
yeah. Speaking of a sad state of affairs, the Seahawks go out and release tight end Noah Fant. They save $8.5 million on the cap. Noah Fant, man, I feel like the Seahawks are where tight ends go to die. You know, like that's where your career is going to end.
There you go.
You know, that's what we call it. That's what Tyler and I always said. It was where tight ends went to die. Yeah, that's what it was. Like Jimmy Graham is a great example. That's where it all started. Great career over there with the Saints. He's tearing it up. He's the best tight end in football. About 4 years, he was the best tight end in football. Remember, he wanted to be an offensive weapon. Wanted to get signed to all that money. Goes to Seattle, garbage. Like, just disappeared. You know, and then you think all these different guys that they had, whether it was it Luke Kuechly, or no, not Luke Kuechly. Who's the guy that they had over there? Kuechly's the linebacker from Carolina. Who they had just this absurd number of tight ends, and none of them were ever spectacular or special. Then they go pick up Noah Fant, who was drowning in Denver's, you know, garbage water there. Yeah. You know, and then he winds up going over there, and they don't use him at all. Like, I just don't understand.
Fant,
You know,
Fant, out of tight end you, but it just never worked. Maybe it's just because of the offense.
a lot of the tight ends, he's kind of like an anomaly, because I feel like every tight end that has come out of Iowa has been good. And then he goes to Denver, and he doesn't get any love in Denver, goes to Seattle, and they don't use him.
Yeah.
And the Pete Carroll system isn't notorious for using the tight end. I mean,
Right, and he's not the blocker that George Kittle is, or some of those other guys that the Dallas Clarks, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's not that blocker, but at the same time, you can utilize what you can utilize, take his strength and use that, which is down the seam, and have him be a red zone threat and a seam threat. But
Will Dissly was who I was thinking.
there you go.
There you go.
But I think Noah Fant was just disgustingly underutilized. I think, you know, he's kind of in. I put him in Michael Mayer territory, where he's just in a bad place. He's just in a place where he's just not going to be utilized properly. And Michael Mayer, when he got drafted to the Raiders, you knew good and well when he got drafted, he wasn't going to be used properly. If you swap him out with Sam Laporta, I think you've got very similar production, you know, out of the, you know, what he would have done in Detroit as compared to what Michael Mayer is doing in Vegas. I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm like,
Mayer's going to be doing a lot more blocking
yeah.
in Vegas than he will be catching the ball because they got Mr. Bowers out there doing his thing. So, but combo tight end. But now we've got somebody that we could exclusively throw to and basically be a disguised receiver playing the role of tight end.
Yep.
Right. But you're the guy that we're going to be using in multiple ways.
Yeah, and that's kind
in
of
the run game and in the pass game if we need to.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about Noah Fant, where it's like, he's always just he's never been utilized. He's never gone to a team that uses the tight end properly. He's never been in that situation. It's just unfortunate to see how his career has just kind of turned out. Now he's cut, so now he's a free agent. I don't think anybody's picked him up yet. I mean, which is just flabbergasting to me. But we'll see how it goes. Man, I could see him, good landing spot for him. I could see him winding up with the Chargers. I could see him winding up in the Harbaugh system. And I think he would be a good fit over there, the Harbaugh system.
You want to get everybody over to the Chargers.
Listen, Jim Harbaugh knows how to use – there's certain players that are out there right now. Harbaugh knows how to use them. And that's the thing, like a guy like Noah Fant, if I'm Jim Harbaugh and knowing what my system is, and Noah Fant seems like a Charger all day. I mean, and they don't really have –
yeah, Harbaugh utilizes the tight end.
Yeah, and they don't really have much at the tight end position. I thought for sure they were going to go after Colston Loveland, and they didn't. But they don't have much at the tight end position right now. So, I mean, do you go out and get a guy like Noah Fant that you can sign on a dime that'll probably fit your system pretty well? I would. You need another pass catcher on top of it to go with Landon McConkey. I mean, it would just make a lot of sense. Maybe that's just me. But I digress. Moving on, we do have a few injuries that took place here. First of all, Cardinals defensive tackle and first-round pick Walter Nolan has suffered a calf injury in practice. He's headed for the PUP list.
Oof.
We're going to have, yeah, that one's painful. We really liked Walter Nolan coming out of the draft this year. I was really high on him out of Ole Miss there, if I'm not mistaken. And, yeah, just to see him, hit the PUP list, that really stinks for Jonathan Gannon, who was really hoping to lean on him a little bit.
They definitely invested in the defense with this draft class.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially having him as your first one. I think he went, 10th overall, didn't he? 10th or 12th.
Let's check the vote.
The Rolodex, are we consulting the old man notebook?
Consulting the old notebook.
Well, while he's consulting the old notebook, it must be noted that B.J. Ojulari and Bilal Nichols have also been placed on the PUP list. So this isn't the only challenging news that Arizona has, on that front line, Yeah, so there's always challenges. There's always something, but you definitely if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, you're probably at a 5 out of 10 on the concern list right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, you want to talk about a team that should be concerned? It's the Miami Dolphins. Corner Artie Burns suffers a torn ACL in practice this last week.
Oh no!
He was slated to be the team's cornerback number 1 this year after the departure of Jalen Ramsey.
Is that what we're calling it? Departure?
The departure of Jalen Ramsey.
Seems like they packed his bag for him.
Yeah. Get the hell out of
In
here.
the middle of the night.
Yeah. So now the Dolphins really don't have jack squat at the corner position, which is very entertaining.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Well, I mean, they made their bed, and now it's Tater Kuho over there. Is the number
Who?
1. Exactly.
Tater Kuho?
Yeah.
Kool-Aid? Sorry. Literally, and the funny thing is, there is a player out there who is actually named Kool-Aid McKinstry, and what's he doing? See if he's available.
Something. They got to do something. Yeah, he's with the Aints right now. Yeah, with the Aints.
You got to be
terrible. Also, another guy going to lose his entire season this year is quarterback Will Levis. He undergoes shoulder surgery. He's going to be out for the entire 2025 season. Just
Levis is toast.
yeah, he's going to go ahead.
This is the part of the show where we just go, hate to see it, but with that, that kind of sideways look, it's like. I'm not sad about this news at all, and you guys probably aren't either.
Not really. Here's the thing. You don't want to see a guy injured, right? Miss the whole season.
Yeah, nobody. We don't like. To be clear, I mean, it's never a good thing when somebody blows, blows their ACL or their knee and they can't play for the whole season. I mean that sucks across the board. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, he sucks across the board. But
Yeah,
that's true too.
Or hurt. But here's the thing. It's probably, I'll say it, the best thing for Tennessee.
yeah,
Right?
Yes.
Because now there's complete concentration on Cameron Ward. He's the guy. There's no, well, maybe there's a shadow of a quarterback competition. Maybe the fire is lit under Will Levis and he's ready to go out there and prove that he's that guy. No more. Nada. We're just concerned with Cam Ward and let's move along.
yeah, I agree.
But Will Levis, it just never clicked, man. I have not seen it. I didn't see it when he was in Kentucky. I didn't see it at the Combine, and I did not see it with Tennessee. And that's evidenced by what we saw with Tennessee. I mean, he took a lot of sacks that he did not need to take.
Yeah.
And threw a lot of interceptions he did not need to. Like, what are you doing, brother?
Just goofy shit.
Yeah, bad ball placement, bad timing. The offensive line wasn't great, but he did not help himself.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of a disaster having him even on a team right now in the NFL. That guy's just a mess. Also, Lions defensive end Levi Onwuzurike. He's set to miss the 2025 NFL season due to an ACL tear.
Oh no!
Yeah, they picked him up, and if I'm not mistaken, a few years back in the second round. And, there was a lot of hope that Onwuzurike was going to be, a huge impact player as a defensive end, and he just has not panned out at this point.
Neither Josh Pascal.
No.
And I just heard, Marcus Davenport, stubbed his toe, and he'll be out for 8 weeks.
Right. He dislocated his toe by hitting it on the coffee table.
Oh, then the whole Davenport plays the whole season.
Right.
But it's kind of bad for the Lions. That defensive line was just held together with bubble gum and cheap string.
Yes.
Now it's
and duct tape.
yeah. You always got to have duct tape.
Yep.
Right. But it ain't good for the Lions.
It's definitely not good. Also, something that wasn't good for the Minnesota Vikings is wide receiver Justin Jefferson. He's going to miss some time during camp, but he appears to have avoided anything serious, according to Kevin O'Connell, after suffering a hamstring strain in camp. This is like the second time that we've heard about Justin Jefferson having some sort of injury bug. Yesterday it was leg tightness, and he sat out because of leg tightness.
Yeah.
And then today he has a hamstring strain.
Well,
So it's kind of interesting. He's going to miss some camp, but he avoided anything serious, according to Kevin O'Connell. So thankful that he avoided that. But goodness gracious, I'm starting to get a little concerned about the durability of Justin Jefferson at this point. And
he hasn't missed time before. He missed how many games?
7.
Not last year, but
The year before, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's concerning to me, first day of camp, leg tightness. Second day of camp, hamstring strain. I'm about a 6 out of 10 on the concern scale.
Yeah, what you been doing, brother?
Yeah.
Right? What haven't you been doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Because on the first day, tight. I don't know. Maybe you should have been a little bit more prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Kind of interesting. Also, Rams quarterback Matt Stafford dealing with a sore back to start training camp.
Because he was carrying the whole Rams team for about 8 weeks last season. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
Surgery.
Oh my God! Huh?
We snuck it in. The streak continues.
Man, listen. Man, look. I watched Matt Stafford rip a throw down the field against the Buffalo Bills and put it in the basket of DeMarcus Robinson, and I didn't see any issue with his arm.
And then right afterward, he started just rubbing that elbow.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, God, it's funny. But in any case, we've got the NFL 100 we're going to be talking about here next. We're going to jump into that.
Wait a minute. What all? Hold on.
What?
You know what time we've come to?
What's that?
We've come
Oh, Jesus.
to the end of the road. Sue Hicks, Williams,
And Matthew.
and
Tyrod.
Matthew had to let go. No more Super Bowl, no Pro Bowl, only ice cream bowl. Go to the bathroom. We know that you can't have lactose. Use that spray in there, that damn spray in there. How much? I don't care. Oh, please wash your hands with your nasty ass. Did you just pass gas running down the hall? Homeboy, check your draw.
Happy retirement.
Happy return.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy.
Unbelievable. And we're jumping into the NFL, one of the top 100 players, as voted by the players. Yeah, 2025.
Listen, let's go over. What are you about to say? I don't want to step all over.
Oh, you're not stepping all over me. Go ahead.
Last week, or last show rather, we started. So let's give them a little rundown.
Yeah.
Right? Starting from 100, last show, number 100 was Lad McConkey.
Yep, there's just a
wide
you guy.
receiver. That's my guy.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Love me some Lad McConkey. Number 99, Leonard Williams, defensive end out of Seattle. Number 98, Aaron Jones, running back out of Minnesota.
That was my guy.
Yeah. Number 97, Drake London, wide receiver, Atlanta Falcons.
Also my guy.
96 was Levante David, linebacker out of Tampa Bay, who was 99 last year.
That was an Alex guy.
Josh Sweat was 95, defensive end out of Arizona now, formerly of Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
At 94, Sam Laporta, tight end from Detroit.
That was an Alex guy.
He was 80 last year. Number 93, the only center on the list, Creed Humphrey.
The former Outside Blitz Rookie of the Year.
That's
Yep.
right, out of the Chief. Number 92 was Jesse Bates III,
That you got.
safety from Atlanta. He was 74th last season. I don't know how the Bengals let him go.
Yeah.
Dummy.
Stuck on Stoop.
Big dummy.
Exactly. Say it again, Fred.
Big dummy.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Fred Fox. Number 91, Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Miami Dolphins. He was 36 the last year.
Yep.
And now we are into number 90, defensive end out of Denver, Mr. Zach Allen.
Quietly had a really good year. Quietly.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
not enough people talking about him as a player.
And it's funny you say that because the players that play against him, I think it was Lane Johnson, so he's for a quiet guy, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you a little, give that quiet demeanor. Joe All kind of talked about it too, just that quiet demeanor. But man, when you play against him, you got to watch out because he was relentless. The word relentless was used early and often throughout the interview process that these guys were talking about Allen.
Yeah.
Joe Alt actually says he's got good hands and the technique has been complimented, and he was always double teamed.
Yeah. He has 63.7 PFF grade last year. The big thing that stands out to me is his pass rush grade has consistently been good as a defensive tackle. You know, that's one thing. His pass rushing grade has always been. He kind of reads more of a 3-tech than anything else. Just barrels into the line, bull rushes the quarterbacks,
And he's got that defensive stiff arm that
Yep.
he puts that arm out on you
Yeah.
to control that
control the
tackle.
distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so he can also read the play and react properly.
Yeah.
That's technique though.
He like I said, quietly had a good year. I mean, like people don't talk about him enough. He's
Right.
probably one of the better defensive tackles in all of football right now, and especially in the Sean Payton system, Sean Payton is notorious for having a really, really strong defensive front, and Zach Allen kind of anchors it. I like that. And I think this is a pretty accurate spot for him.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, on there, I think this is about right where he needs to be.
Yeah. We talked about Von Miller earlier. They showed a clip where Zach Allen sacked Josh Allen, right? And Von Miller's on the bench. Looked up, said, "Who's that? Zach Allen?" And he had this look on his face like,
Yeah.
right? Denver replacing 99,
Yeah.
right, with another 99 who could break his sack record.
Yeah. Kind of an interesting thing. And I actually, like I said, I think 90 is about perfect for him. I wouldn't go higher than that right now.
No, I don't believe he was ranked last year.
Yeah. Number 89.
Number 89, Mr. James Cook, running back out of Buffalo.
Listen, this seems really low.
It does.
Really low.
It does.
Yeah, he ought to be higher, a lot higher.
And knowing, because like they've released, obviously they've released like the higher tiers. Seeing the players that are ahead of him, I've looked and I'm like, this is extremely low for James Cook.
And he was unranked last year.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a hello.
Yeah.
Look at this guy type of deal. Let's see. Dixon, the guard, Dixon was quoted as Cook keeps us on pace.
Yep.
Now, when you can say that about a running back, you can say guy can keep a team on pace. That's what I mean when I talk about foundational running backs. When I talk about guys that you can just keep. You don't have to worry about taking them off the field.
Sure.
And that's the problem with the Buffalo Bills. When James Cook was cooking, right, pardon the pun, when he was cooking out there, here comes Josh Allen to steal 3 or 4 carries. Yeah. When James Cook hadn't really when he was getting going, especially late in the season, right? Early to the middle of the season, James Cook was doing his thing, right?
They leaned on Josh Allen a lot lately.
And why?
I don't know why.
Because there was no reason to let him throw, protect his legs, right? Protect his health,
protect his body.
Yeah, you don't need him, taking all of those hits. Because the running back is a less than premium position, let him take all those hits, right? And that's what he's going to do. But James Cook went out there and he showed and proved last year, like you said, Alex.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a fantastic RB1 season. You could tell he had the burst, the explosiveness. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. He made sure that he wasn't just Dalvin Cook's little brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Anymore.
That was the thing about James Cook for a long time. He was just, it's Dalvin's younger brother.
Yeah.
He's not as good as Dalvin.
Right.
And I think James Cook as a pure rusher isn't as good as Dalvin, but I think James Cook does things better than Dalvin, like catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yes.
And those are things that Dalvin Cook didn't do as well.
Better open field running, too.
Yeah, exactly. On that. Better moving into the flat and being able to catch the ball and make plays with his legs on the flat.
Yeah. Number 88, and I know you want to talk about this dude.
Yeah.
Number 88, Andrew Van Ginkel, linebacker, Minnesota Vikings, unranked last season.
Now let me tell you something about Andrew Van Ginkel.
Tell me something.
When he got signed by the Minnesota Vikings last year in the offseason, I said that was one of the most underrated signings. And I was really big on this signing because he was coming off, at that time, a career year with the Miami Dolphins.
Knew the Flores system inside and out.
Exactly. And I said, look, you need to really think about this signing. And a lot of people, and I don't remember if it was on the show, but a lot of people kind of laughed at me for that. They kind of said, you don't know what you're talking about. Andrew Van Ginkel played that good.
I definitely laughed at that.
And I said, wait a minute. This guy, he had a career year in Miami. He's coming off a career year. Yeah. He knows the Flores system. He's kind of finally figured it out. And now he's going to this Flores system where the defense is just grossly improving that he's familiar with. They've got all these new pieces, these great pieces that they just put on the field. Trust me, this guy's going to have a year. A lot of people say, you don't know what you're talking about. Andrew Van Ginkel went out and was one of the best linebackers in football last year. I mean, and the things he was doing, there were things that he was doing that I never thought I would ever see. He was waiting until running backs would run into the flat and then come up and snatch the ball right out from under him. He was sniffing out the little plays, these little pass plays before these dink and dunks before they even happened. And he took 2 of them 2 weeks in a row for pick sixes. So,
Yep.
like this guy is a good linebacker, and he
Yeah.
just got old. The Vikings just paid him, rightfully so. He deserved the extension. The fact that the Vikings, the only thing the Vikings should be kicking themselves for is they didn't get him on a longer deal when they first signed him, because they only signed him to a 2-year, I think, $20 million deal. You could have probably got that guy for like 4 or 5 years, because he would have fit the system and you could have got him on a dime. That's the only thing Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah should be kicking himself for.
Yeah, and here's the thing about, I will say this. Now, you know, everybody listen. If you've been listening for a while, my brethren, my sister, and the Blitz babies, if you will, if you've been listening for a couple of seasons, couple of years since I've been on the show, who have I talked? Which running back have I talked about more than any other running back? Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you. And let me tell you something. I have never in my life watching Jahmyr Gibbs, I had never seen Jahmyr Gibbs take a clean hit ever, right? A little side hit, a little straight tack. I'd never seen him get lit up. Andrew Van Ginkel lit up Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. I said, damn.
Yeah.
Now, Gibbs got right back up. You know, to be credit, got right back up. But I had never seen anybody get the drop on Jahmyr Gibbs, and he dropped him in the backfield clean. I said, dang.
The anticipation of Andrew Van Ginkel is just outrageous. The vision.
And the uncanny ability to be in the right place at the right time and turn the ball, not only just be there, but to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Give me that guy 11 times out of 10.
Yeah, I like him, and combining him with guys like Ivan Pace and Blake Cashman, it's really been just kind of head-turning for a lot of people, seeing that linebacking crew. Underrated linebacking crew, but Andrew Van Ginkel's the heart and soul of the whole thing, and he's shown it. He's the leader of that linebacking crew.
The football intelligence, that's something that they all do.
Yeah, absolutely. Smart guy. He's a great player. I loved having him. This seems, at 88, seems low to me as well, given what he was able to do last year.
Right. Anything on that? Anything, Alex? What you got, bro?
I mean, what else have you guys? There's not a whole lot that I can say that you guys haven't already said, but I will say this. I mean, you talk about pick sixes, right? I mean, he's had 4 interceptions in his career, and again, 2 of them last year. And, up until, 2023, when he was in Miami, he didn't get any touchdowns off of him. He's had 3 in his career. So obviously, you take the ball to the house twice. As a linebacker, I mean, that's got to raise your eyebrows. That's something you expect a corner to do or a safety to do. Somebody like a Mike, a Mike linebacker like Andrew Van Ginkel, just like you said, kind of playing quarterback spy, watching the quarterback's eyes and going, they're dumping it off to this guy. Let me just snatch it real quick. Very dangerous player.
And what was crazy to me about those 2 touchdowns is they were just bang, bang touchdowns. Yeah. It was just so, you could tell they were going really quick to that running back, and he had it scouted every step of the way.
Yep.
Just stepped right in front of it and said, thank you, and took it to the house. Before I even knew that he had picked the ball off, he was already 10 yards down the field with it. It was so quick.
That's film study and football intelligence.
Yes.
And a lot of it, he actually credited Flores for this time in Miami with Flores. And he said, for those interceptions, he said, he taught me how to anticipate those types of things so that I could come up and make plays on the football like that. So I just kind of remember that, and away we went.
Yep. So, and away we go to number 87, Quentin Williams, defensive tackle, New York Jets. Last year, he was ranked number 37.
Very high, but this is a big drop-off for him.
Huge drop-off.
The thing about Quentin Williams, and I always I laugh at Quentin Williams. He was the only guy that ever sneezed and blessed himself for it. I don't know if you recall that after he got drafted. He sneezed, bless you, and then continued. It's like, what the heck is going on? Very funny guy, though. He's a presence on the field.
Yeah.
Huge presence up the middle.
Talk about huge. 300 something pounds huge.
Gigantic man.
Brother, they say This is a big dude, and he said himself, "Man, I'm always double teamed."
Yep.
But that's all right, though.
He's space eater.
He knows what teams are going to try to do,
Yep.
and that's what they have to do. It's hard to go one-on-one with Quentin Williams, who is the offensive line, Tyler Linderbaum out of the Baltimore Ravens center. He said, "My welcome to the NFL moment," and Quentin Williams. And Quentin Williams got him and put him in his place real quick, and it was one of those deals like, whoa, yeah, you're in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
Quentin Williams, number 97,
95.
95. He's too heavy to really move, but here's the thing: he's got sneaky athleticism, and he's strong, and he plays with that weight, that anchor. Right when he anchors down, bro, you can't move.
And what's interesting to me is a down year for him. Like, well, let's just kind of for reference. 2022, he had a 90.1 overall grade, 84.1 pass rushing, 77.7 run defense grade.
Right. 2023,
90.6. He had an 84.5 pass rush grade, a 90.4 run defense grade. So a down year for him is in 24, 69.6 overall. He had a 76.1 pass rush grade. It's a down year. You know,
right.
like,
Yeah.
And then now think about this guy. Who is the defensive coordinator?
Exactly. All those defensive
Who is the
coordinators, yeah, all that change,
Right.
You know? And I think about a situation like we're about to see with Aaron Glenn going over, and what Aaron Glenn was able to accomplish with the defense, with the players that he had on that defense, and especially up the middle with those defensive tackles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if you're giving him Quentin Williams,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
buddy, he's about to have a day.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And that'll help Sauce in the back end, right?
Yep.
If you can hold tight at the line and then get to the quarterback, forget about it.
Yeah, that 4-3 system is going to be beneficial to him this upcoming season. This seems, again, low for Quentin Williams.
It is, man. He's heavy machinery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't pull him with a tow truck.
I wonder if the low rank is because of the team he's playing for.
That might be it.
That could be it. In at number 86, left tackle, Washington Commanders, formerly Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Laramie Tunsil, actually formerly Dallas Cowboys. Well, Laramie Tunsil comes in at number 86. He was 71 last season.
Also seems very low. Given and that's just, for me, it's seeing some of the guys that wound up on this list ahead of him. This seems extremely low for Laramie Tunsil. Tunsil is a hell of a player. There's a reason Washington wanted to pick him up. He was the heart and soul of that Texans offensive line for the last couple of years. He winds up going to the Commanders. There's a reason Commanders wanted him. They sent Trent Williams out the door to San Francisco, and they never replaced that spot. And
They never did.
And they needed to fix it, and now they do with Laramie Tunsil, who's, I mean, pretty comparable to Trent Williams in a lot of ways. I would be really happy to have a guy like Laramie Tunsil as my starting left tackle.
Like Trent Williams, like.
Yeah, that's kind of what he is. I mean, he's like a poor man's Trent Williams. He still gives you a lot of the same production, though.
No. Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's another welcome to the NFL moment.
Oh, God.
Right? Will Anderson, right?
Oh, God, Will Anderson.
defensive end for the Houston Texans, said his welcome to the NFL moment was being basically little boyed by Laramie Tunsil. Anderson said Tunsil grabbed him up by his jersey and shoulder pad area and the collarbone area and just kind of yanked him to the ground, right? And we talking about Will Anderson, first round draft pick, the guy that, you know, was unstoppable at Alabama, became defensive rookie of the year 2 years ago, right? How did it's Laramie Tunsil?
Yes.
Right? So technique, again, was a word used to describe Tunsil. Technique mixed with strength, right? And Joe Alt, actually, again, here's another elite left tackle, said that he tried to implement some of what Laramie Tunsil's game has in it. So when you get to the league and you know who the top guys are, why not add a little bit of what they can do, right, to what I'm doing, not to steal from them, right?
Right.
Because they do what they do, you do what you do, but if you can implement something that they do, right, right, to improve your game, why not?
Yeah, I agree. Laramie Tunsil's one of those guys that a lot of these offensive tackles are going to be leaning on a little bit and just kind of watching and learning from. And and he's going to wind up being he's going to be a great compliment to Sam Cosme over there.
Cosme, that's
yeah. He's going to be a really great compliment. Cosme's a really great guard. And Washington, if I'm not mistaken, they signed him to an extension last offseason. But, Cosme has been excellent over there since he got drafted. I really loved his game. He wound up being on our top rookies list during his rookie season. So I was always a really big fan of him. And now here we are. We've got Laramie Tunsil over here, who that guy is going to wind up being just such a good leader, on that team.
Yeah.
But it's a very young team over there for the most part. He's going to wind up having that leadership role on that offensive line.
I know Jay Daniels is like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I finally have to watch my blind side.
Right? We are years removed from that ridiculous video of him with the ball in the bag. That's no longer
Laramie Tunsil.
something to talk about. Exactly.
See, we're past that.
Yeah, way past that. What you got, Alex?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I could say you guys haven't already said. Again, leadership quality. I think that's the biggest takeaway that I have here. You have a veteran presence at that blind side spot at that left tackle. And you can get somebody that can fire the troops up and somebody that can, assist Jaden Daniels, and keep him from getting hit so that he can make the plays that he needs to make. He can be even cooler in the pocket. So, big, like we keep talking about, the offense on this team is rolling as if it wasn't before. So, Commander's window is open. It's wide open, and I would not be surprised if they made it to the playoffs again. Made it to the NFC title game again.
Yeah. And you want to talk about a really good pass blocking offensive tackle. He was ranked 4th last year as an offensive tackle, 88.6 overall pass block rate. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. 4th best pass blocking defensive tackle in all of football. If you wanted a guy to protect Jaden Daniels, there's your guy.
Right? And Houston somehow fumbled that. I don't get it.
They didn't get jack squat in return.
No, and then they've got a new cast of characters. It's a good thing that C.J. Stroud is as good as he is, and the defense will be really good. And not to mention that the vision is.
Yeah.
So, that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what else is a good thing? Number 85 is a good thing, and that belongs to Kyron Williams, running back, L.A. Rams. Last year, he was 78.
Yeah, he we talked a little bit about Kyron Williams, from I guess a efficiency perspective, and the efficiency did fall off a little bit when it comes to Kyron Williams. I feel like this is still low for him, given how there was a lot of occasions this past season where he was utilized as a workhorse. That's what he was, and when I say workhorse, I meant when Puka and Cooper Kupp were gone, it was a Kyron Williams show.
It was,
and
all day long.
All day.
And what did he do? He just scored 16 total touchdowns last season, right?
Yep.
Banged in 2 against the doggone Buffalo Bills. Listen, I'm gonna say something about Kyron. Okay, when he came into the league, he got hurt his first year because they had him returning kickoffs and punts, and I'm like, that's not really what he should be doing. But whatever, right? Earn your stripes, pay your dues, I guess. But when he was given the starting role, he showed up and he did everything that they asked him to do. Now, he's considered NFL small, right?
Yeah.
But he is a smaller back. But there's that contact balance that he had. It's the vision that he had. He got an ability to kind of morph through the defense and kind of get lost, right, because of his stature. But he tends to fall forward a lot. I like that fall forward factor, right, as we talked about. And he's got the want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He had a fall off from 23 to 24. And for reference, 23, he had a 90.6 rushing grade. 80.3 overall grade. Now, one thing he does do, and I think it kind of stands out, he runs the ball very effective. When you put the ball in his gut and you just let him do his thing, cool. He ain't a receiver guy.
I'll say this about him. With the rush grade falling off, there's also an offensive line issue there.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
You know, the Rams offensive line, a lot of shuffle. They started the rookie center last season.
Yes, they
right?
did.
So there's that. But Kyron Williams, he's a capable receiver. Right? Do you want to keep throwing it to him? Maybe. He's capable. Here's the thing, though. You know what his true value is? Hey, hardware stores. I'm sponsored the Outside Blitz. The true value is block.
Yeah.
He picks up blitzes like grocery bags, bro. He knows where to be, and he stonewalls some defenders because they think they can just run right through him.
Yeah.
But nah, he's stronger than you think he is. Now, he can get stopped at the line of scrimmage, right? And there have been some instances where, he didn't get as much yardage as he should have. But, again, he's one of those moment makers, and when the moment is big, he plays big.
Yeah. He's had some moments when it comes to the pass blocking game, in particular, game against San Francisco, game against Chicago, game against Detroit. I mean, 80-plus pass blocking rates.
And you wonder how Matthew Stafford is able to rip those passes deep down the field to Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and DeMarcus Robinson and Juju Atwell. It's because Kyron Williams stepped and put his nose in there and took on a blitzer.
There's two that stand out to me in particular, though. Game against Buffalo, game against Minnesota, and there's the third one, game against San Francisco. I mean, think about that. And all the games against San Francisco, 80 PFF grades for pass blocking. So I just, that's the thing you're talking about here. He gets to those tough games where you need him to block, and he's there. So I mean, he's been doing it. Last year, just 4.1 yards per carry. However, the year before, 5 yards per carry. He had 12 rushing touchdowns in 23. He had 14 in 24. So I mean, still getting in the end zone. Still getting where he needs to go. 1,299 yards last year. The year before, he had 1,144. And but look at the carry difference. I think that's huge. 228 carries in 23, and 24 he had 316.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I mean,
and listen, our A-list all-star #1 running back, Blake Corum, kept him off the field.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And when you can do that, when you can keep a rookie off the field, that shows something.
Yeah, he was third in carries, fifth in touchdowns, seventh in rushing yards, but he had a 4.1 average. I think he probably kind of started. I mean, you go 8 weeks of you just being the guy.
Yes. Maybe wearing down a little bit, right?
Yeah,
and man, this offensive line. Ooh,
I'm running 30 carries a game.
Right.
What the shit is going on?
Right.
I would be tired too.
Right.
So, but I do feel like it's a little low for Kyren, even with it being a down year. Technically down year. Like as far as efficiency goes. I mean, this is still low for him. And given all those circumstances, and knowing, like I keep saying, knowing some of the guys that are ahead on this list, I'm like,
Yeah.
How is he here?
Right.
So, I think he should be higher on this list.
What do you think, Alex?
I totally agree with that. He probably should be like in the 70 to 61 range, if you ask me. I mean, you could see that middle of the road because, but still, he's a very dynamic player. And, some of the people on this list, I mean, the next guy on the list, probably should be behind Kyren Williams. I mean, not to say that he's a bad player at all. I mean, if you make the top 100, you're a good player. You're a decent enough player to make the top 100. But this next guy, I think he should be a little bit, further back on the list. Don't you think?
I agree with you.
Well, since we're talking about him, like he's not here. Number 84, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, New England Patriots. Last year, he was unranked. However, part of that is because he was injured.
Yeah. So before the injury, Christian Gonzalez, he got a lot of hype and fanfare coming into the draft last year. Everybody was pretty excited about this kid. He winds up going to the Patriots. And it was a little bit of a surprise pick by the Patriots. Everybody was kind of like, wow, I can't believe they took him that early. But he winds up going to the Patriots. There was a lot of excitement. Last year, 80.8 overall grade. He had a 79.3 coverage grade before his injury. 75.1 pass rush, 71.3 run defense grade. Very good corner, in the brief period that he played. He continued that trend. The only thing that he kind of went down on was the run defense. But
that's not what you want.
You're a number one corner. That's what he's supposed to be. He's your CB1, 76 overall grade, 74.9 pass rush, 78.2 coverage grade. It ranked 17th in the entire league. Christian Gonzalez, good player. He is. He's a good player. I don't think there's any question about that. I think that Kyren Williams, should be ranked higher. I think Christian Gonzalez is a prototypical CB1 in this league. I think that's kind of where we're at here. I think he's going to really thrive in the Mike Vrabel defense because Vrabel loves his defense and he really knows how to get those corners working. We've seen that. But, it's a little high for him. I think it should, you want to see a guy that I would probably shoot down to the 90s, sure. But,
I can see that.
Ultimately, he's a really good player. He belongs in this list. It's not a bad ranking for him, given the circumstances. But I'm with you, Alex. I would probably put him down in the 90s.
Yeah, he was very happy, Gonzalez was, with the play he made against Devontae Adams. He talked about that on the broadcast. He was very happy with that. Think about that. You're this young player, 2 years into the league, if that, and you're playing against can we call him a Hall of Famer?
I think we probably can.
Right? He might have a bust in Ken. You're probably right. Definitely one of the best, receivers in the game.
And there's no way in the world he wasn't watching Devontae Adams, play professionally for the Packers for all those years, and not think, man, I wish I could play
against him.
One-on-one with Devontae Adams and break up a pass or get one on him. Of course, that has to go through your mind, right? When you're doing this thing, you have to know that, hey, I want to be the best. So in order to be the best, I got to go up against the best. And Devontae Adams, for a lot of years, was one of the best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And also about Christian Gonzalez, you know what I like about him? That's his mom.
No, jeez. I love Mama.
He said, I love your mama. That got me right there. Got me right in all the field.
I love my mama.
That's right.
Oh, my Lord.
My heart grew 3 times.
Oh, thank you. Did you steal Christmas, too?
All right. Number 83 on the list, old head, right? Veteran.
Yeah.
Terrific veteran. Number 83 is Cam Hayward, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, he was number 98. So it's a jump for the elderly statesman in Pittsburgh.
Listen, the teams prepare for Cam Hayward in particular.
Yep.
Like we always talk. If you ever watched that series, The Last Dance, they talk about Dennis Rodman, and they say he's one of the things they said that everybody kept saying about him is he's the fuck up guy. He's the guy that's going to fuck everything up. That's Cam Hayward.
I'm glad you said that because he batted down more passes at the line of scrimmage than any other defensive tackle last season.
Yeah, Cam Hayward, man, he was the highest ranked defensive tackle.
He had 11 passes defended in the year 2024, and the second highest year was in 21 when he only had 9. That's ridiculous.
Listen, I'm sorry. That's what defensive tackles are taught.
Yes,
right.
Right.
If you can't get to the quarterback, get those hands up, and at least affect the play, affect the pass in some kind of way.
Yeah. 90.3 PFF grade last year, 87.1 pass rush, 79.6 run defense grade. First overall, third overall in pass rush, fourth overall in run defense. And he was the best defensive tackle in football last
year. And he's one of the best. Listen, first team All-Pro, 9-time top 100 player.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, one of those cornerstones of a team. And one of those he's presence.
Yeah,
right?
leadership
In
qualities.
the locker room, a
Yeah.
presence on your team. He's that guy that if he's not there, right there's a huge gap, and it's like, what do we do if he's not? He's kind of like reminds me of Calais Campbell,
Yeah.
in the fact that this is just the guy that's gonna be there. You can depend on.
That's
right?
it.
And
And
he's a leader in it.
10 sacks last year.
Yeah.
48 solo tackles. He ranked third in solo tackles at his position, fourth in sacks at his position at 10. I mean, he's just
Right?
a beast.
Yeah.
Just an absolute beast. And like even when you're on Monday Night Football and
Yeah.
you're listening to them talk about Cam Hayward, they're like, man, you have to, your whole mindset when you're playing the Steelers is just focusing on him and where he is, because that's priority one. You have to stop him.
Yep.
And if you can't, there's a problem. And
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what he is. He is a problem.
Yep, I can definitely see a bust in Canton for this guy.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
a guy that
First
will-
ballot.
Yeah, he'll be a Hall of Fame.
When they talk about the bull rush, that's his go-to.
Yep.
That's his number one move. And if you can't stop it, good luck.
Yeah, raw power.
Doesn't have to do. But listen, if you can bull rush and either get to the quarterback, affect the pass, or get to the running back,
Collapse the
and
pocket.
collapse the pocket,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then we don't need you to do anything else.
Yeah.
Right? Don't need a swim move. Don't need a swim move. A swim move.
Yeah.
A rip move. You don't need that. Or spin. If you can bull rush and affect the play the way that Cam Hayward does,
Yep.
don't need any of that else.
Yeah, not at all. He's the key cog to that Steelers defense.
Yes, sir.
That's what he is. And the Steelers have just been building around him ever since.
Yes, sir. Such a fantastic transition. Number 82 on the list. We can cut that out. Is Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Cleveland Browns, formerly Denver Bronco, unranked last.
This seems, he had a good year this past year. He got hot. Well, after the trade, he got hot, and everybody was like, well, why are they trading Jerry Jeudy from Denver over to Cleveland? And ever since that trade happened, when he got involved with Jameis, and Jameis started targeting him, it was like, oh, okay.
Yep. He did wonders for my fantasy team last year.
It's funny you say that, because that was the first words out of Jameis Winston's mouth on the broadcast. He finally got the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder who was throwing it to him, right?
Right.
But, Jameis recognized, hey, this guy's good. Let me just get the ball in his vicinity, right? And don't throw it to anybody else, or especially a defender, right? if you're Jameis, but he finally got the ball, and he showed what he showed at Alabama for those seasons, right?
When he got drafted, we were like, oh, man, Jerry Jeudy. And then, he's always been kind of meh.
Right.
And I think Sean Payton, he's always been in a situation with these coaches where the coaches are kind of like, I don't really like him.
Yeah.
And now he goes to Cleveland, and it's like, oh, we can use him. He's a good
Yeah.
player.
Right? He runs really good routes over the middle, but let me see what else. Career highs in receptions and receiving yards.
Yep.
Caught 235 against his former team, the Denver Broncos, most against the former team in NFL history. I wonder why.
Yeah, yeah. I like Jerry Jeudy a lot. Here on this list, seems a little high, given the guys that are behind him, but I do understand why he's on the list.
Got some respect.
Yeah, he's getting his respect, and we're going to see. I want to see if Jerry Jeudy continues to flourish in the Browns system, because he seems to be a really good fit there.
And the one quarterback that can get him the ball consistently,
That's it.
do I need to set more?
I mean, okay, but the question must also be asked, are the Browns smart enough to make that connection? Time will tell.
I don't think they are. I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen with Jerry Jeudy given the quarterback situation over there.
If Flacco plays, I think Flacco could get him the ball.
I agree.
So, yeah, that'll be an interesting little thing.
Yeah, but over the middle, with Shador's accuracy and Jerry Jeudy's ability to catch on the move and continue up the field, like that would be.
Yeah, and that was
That'd be a
his
heck of a
that was
combination.
his bread and butter in Alabama.
Yes.
Getting over the middle of the field and just coming out
Yes.
those slants and those post
Yes.
routes.
Get it on the move. Don't have me pause my momentum. Just get the ball out in front of me. Let me catch it on the move, and I can go and make people miss and just
Let me run.
exactly. All right, now we're running to number 81, the last name on this show for this list. Trent McDuffie.
This is
Cornerback.
so low.
Yes, incredibly low.
Unranked last season.
Which I don't know why. Who's booking this shit?
Right. I have a theory as to why he did that.
This is a travesty for him to be this low on this list.
I've got a theory. Want to hear it?
What's the theory?
Theory is McDuffie has not turned the ball over. He had not caught intercept. He had not taken intercept, and especially taken anything to the house. Matter of fact, he's a lockdown type of guy. He has not missed the start due to injury, so he's durable. And what do we talk about on the show, Alex?
Availability and reliability.
Exactly. He's a willing tackler, and he had his first pick of the season first pick of his career last season. So that's why I believe he's this low, because he hadn't been turning the ball over and putting the defense up. And putting what?
Let me tell you about Trent McDuffie. When he was being drafted,
Out of Washington. Yeah.
I said the Minnesota Vikings need to go get Trent McDuffie. I was laughed at. I was laughed at in the Twitter sphere. I was laughed at on this show. I was laughed at by people around me. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This guy's not that good. I said, he's a great man coverage corner. You kidding me? No, you don't know what you're talking about. You need to, what do they always say? Oh, you need to watch more. And then they got all excited when the Vikings traded back and picked up Lewis Seen in that same draft.
Oh, yep.
And I wanted Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
And everybody called me crazy. And here we are, Trent McDuffie with a Super Bowl ring.
Yep.
Over the last couple of years, in 22, in his rookie year, he had a 73.6 PFF grade, a 76 coverage grade. Mm-hmm. Then we go into 23, 82.9 overall grade, 91.7 pass rush grade, and a 78.3 coverage grade. Mm-hmm. Then we go into last year. He just keeps getting better. 83.1 overall grade, 90.5 pass rush grade, 80.6 coverage grade. He's one of the best corners in football. And what he did is he sat there as a cornerback 2, as a CB2 behind L'Jarius Sneed last year, and there was all these questions. Can he make the transition from being a CB2 to a CB1 and taking on the big guys? And what did he do? He got better as he took on the big guys. His numbers got better, and he was better against number 1 receivers than he was against number 2s. He's one of the best corners in football, and people need to show this man some respect. He should be way higher on this list, somewhere in the 40s.
I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry. He had 15 pass breakups. So that tells you that he can cover. That tells you going against the number 1s, being the CB1 with 15 pass breakup, and come on.
Per Pro Football Focus, he was the 3rd-ranked corner in the entire league this last year.
Yeah. But it just goes to my theory. When you're not intercepting the ball, right, people don't notice.
And I get so hot when I see a situation like this, where you see a corner that's as good as Trent McDuffie is, and a guy that I've been looking at since he popped up in the draft, and since he got on my radar. I'm like, man, I really like Trent McDuffie. I would love for them to get him at 12. And the fact that he fell to the 20s, fell right into the Chiefs' lap, and you see what he's doing, it's like, what in the hell are we doing here? And then I look over and I look at my Vikings, and I'm just like, you need corners. Yeah. Here's Trent McDuffie. Yeah. No, we're drafting Lewis Seen. And everybody was excited about Lewis Seen, and he turned out to stink. And then you look over at Trent McDuffie and you see what he's doing. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. And I'm just like, what are we doing? He's been one of the best, most consistent corners in football. He's never hurt. He 7th pass rush grade, 9th coverage grade. I mean,
Yes. What else do you need?
that's a number 1 corner all day.
All day.
And he just keeps getting better. It's what we were touting Brandon Ayuk last year,
Right.
For the yardage numbers going up and the reception numbers going up every year after year. This guy's numbers have gone up year after year after year. Trent McDuffie should be in way higher than he is. And like you said, no interception. I don't give a shit.
And he had 2. He had 1 in back-to-back games.
Yeah. Can he shut down your number 1 guy? And he does it effectively every single time. That's my rant on McDuffie. But I need to watch more tape.
You need to watch more tape, Scotty.
Give me a break. Oh, man, that's my rant on McDuffie. I'm sorry. I got so hot about that. But moving into that's our 10.
That's our 10 for this show. We got 10 more coming.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we got like 80 more coming.
We got 80 more coming down the line. But we're going to continue the top 100 right through the NFL season.
Hey, you know what? When I had the idea, hey, let's do 10 per show until the beginning of the season and do 3 or 4 each week and all the way through week 17 and 18. You know what Scotty did? Scotty said, nah, Boots. Let me lace you with this. We're going to take it all the way through the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Those two Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, that's a great idea.
We can do whatever we want to do. This is our show.
Yep. It's our house.
Screw your expectations.
We going all the way through the Super Bowl with this top 100.
Yep. It's going to be sweet. I'm
Yeah,
excited about it.
Well, you want to talk about screw your expectations. I got some expectations for you. I think we're at that special part of the show, are we not?
Yeah, we're on our final segment of the show. This is where Alex is going to give us his 5 bold predictions for the upcoming NFL season.
Yeah, buddy. So round 2, fight. So I came up with these bold predictions while we were discussing the top 100, the 90 through 81 guys in the top 100, and I feel like I got some pretty good winners here, for just throwing darts. I mean, it's random. And I know there is a Lions one in here, heads up. But I think it's, and one of my bold predictions is a callback from last season.
Okay.
Well, if you couldn't get it last season, why not try it?
Yeah.
Hey, listen. And when you hear it, you'll understand why. So here we go. Bold prediction number 1 for round 2. I believe the Detroit Lions, despite their defensive woes, will still hold teams to a per-game average of 200 yards and 3 touchdowns throughout the entire season.
Wow.
We're talking about a per-game average here. So if you get the one lopsided game with the Baltimore Ravens where they're going to drop 500 yards and 6 touchdowns on you, that means they got to make up for it, the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But I think that is very doable for even this, beleaguered defense.
So by week 18, after week 18 is over, we're going to wind up checking that and seeing, did they hold teams to 200 yards or less and 3 touchdowns or less per game.
And on average. Okay.
Yep.
Because I think that's pretty fair because, it'd be kind of interesting to see what the averages are in the first place. So, bold prediction number 2. I believe Bo Nix will outperform all quarterbacks in the NFC and AFC West except for Patrick Mahomes. And if he does outperform even Patrick Mahomes II, big bonus.
Yeah.
Outperform.
Everybody. So here's basically who he has to outperform. He has to outperform Justin Herbert. That's going to be his biggest challenge. He has to outperform the Vegas Raiders. He has to outperform the Kansas City Chiefs, which, I mean, I don't think he's going, I put that in there because I don't think anybody outperforms Patrick Mahomes. But he also has to outperform Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy.
Brock.
Yep. I apologize in advance. Is Drew Lock starting at No, it's Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. And let's see, and Cardinals Kyler Murray.
Yep.
So that's four. That's four dudes. That's four dudes in the NFC West, and two dudes in the AFC West.
Yep. So this has to be quantifiable. Do you want to make it yardage and touchdowns?
Sure thing. He gets more yardage, more yards, more touchdowns.
All right. And let's go ahead and shoot for number 3 here.
Number 3.
Okay. I believe callback remix. I'm calling it before the season starts. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win the NFC South again at the last minute again, and they'll get swept by the Falcons again. Okay, you remember what I said last year? I said, this Buccaneers team got swept by the Atlanta Falcons. They lost both division games. Who ended up winning the division that year?
The Bucs.
Buccaneers. We're calling it back. I can see them doing it. Even if Chris Godwin, just so you guys know, he's not going to be as up to snuff as he's been these past few seasons. He's kind of regressing a little bit. But they still have Mike Evans. They still have Bucky Irving. And they still have. I got another player's name on the mind here, but I'm sure Scotty can fill in the blanks.
So it's either going to be Rashad White or it's going to be Jalen McMillan. Yeah.
The new kid on the block, which I think it's fair that you put that up there for the kid.
We were talking about the rookie, Mr. Ohio State there.
Ibuka.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah, you get those two guys. Absolutely.
I am with Boots here. Godwin, got his whole foot turned on backwards. When what was probably one of the most disgusting scenes I've seen on football.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got the whole Sid Vicious treatment. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
It was nasty. So, Alex, hit me with number 4.
Let's not forget about Chase.
Kate Ott.
Kate Ott.
Yep. Kate Ott.
Oh yeah, great tight end.
Extremely well when Evans and Godwin were gone.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, number 4. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals will fumble on Trey Hendrickson, and whichever team he signs for will be a top 4 seed in the conference. The division team he signs with will be a division winner.
Oh.
So first of all, Trey Hendrickson has to not sign with the Cincinnati Bengals.
There we go.
And then after he gets signed by somebody else, that team wins their division.
So you think he's just going to wind up in free agency?
Okay. I think it's, you know what? Yes. I think the Bengals are enough of a bereft organization to allow that to happen. Now, is he going to be, well, I mean, if he stays with the Bengals, he's still on a year in his contract, right?
Yes. Okay,
so this is a pick then for next year, which so maybe I need to rethink this. So maybe instead of fumbling on him, they trade him, right?
There you go.
They'll trade Trey Hendrickson, but it'll be a botched trade.
Yeah,
and we're going to look at that trade and go, wait a minute, you traded away one of the best defensive players in football for a pack of Fruit Stripes gum, a tire iron, and a pair of underwear? Like one of those deals. And that team who gets traded to, wins their division.
Yep. Okay. I'm with that. That's it. That's bold.
That's bold. It's unique. It's detailed,
But it's a Bengal move.
but it's a Bengal move.
Yeah,
and Trey Hendrickson, he would stick it to the bench.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he would. He absolutely would.
Because he would be playing with the fire in his belly, in his gut, and under his ass. That would propel whatever defense he went to becoming a dominant top defense.
Wouldn't it be something if he got traded to the Raiders and the Raiders won the AFC West?
That would be insane.
I would laugh my balls off if that happened.
You know what would make me really happy? If he went to the Chargers. And then he ended up the Chargers one.
Yeah. Of course you would. Of course you would.
The only way it gets better is if he goes to Minnesota. But like if he went to the Chargers, I could just sit here and point and laugh at things.
And point and laugh at the Bengals too, because that gross ass Skyline chili.
Yeah.
Got to get that in there. All right, here we go. And the pieza de resistance. I'll leave it up to you to judge if it's main event worthy. But number 5, I believe the Dallas Cowboys will finish dead last in the NFC East and be in the bottom 4 teams in the NFC.
Wow.
We're talking at most a 13 seed.
Dead last in the East.
Dead last in the East and at least a 13 seed. Like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel for draft picks.
That's bold. I think
I like it, though.
the reason I think this could happen is if Prescott goes down. If that goes down, I think that's about all she wrote. Because they don't have anybody at quarterback.
Nobody.
Yeah, that's
Cooper Rush? Who?
I'd honestly have to look. I'm going to right now.
They let Cooper Rush walk.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So even that, I mean, so they don't even have that. They got nobody at quarterback.
I actually physically have to go and look up who their backup quarterback is because they have Joe Milton.
Joe Milton with the golden penis.
Yeah.
Cut back to Mike Valenti when he was playing for Michigan. So I mean, cannon for an arm, but is he going to be able to hit anybody? I mean, that's the deal. But
they just traded for him with New England in the offseason. So I mean, so they do have Joe Milton over there, Mr. Double Finger Gun himself. So I mean,
the double finger guns.
Yeah.
Hey, well, it fits with the Cowboys' persona.
I guess.
Have him come out to training camp in a big ass cowboy hat.
Yeah.
It'd be so stupid.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball.
They are.
They're going to run the ball. And
Of course.
going back to the conversation we talked about last show with the Jaden Blue, called Jaden Blue taking over. And he could if everything falls that way, but if Javonte Williams is back to being the running back he was when he came came into the league before the horrific knee injury where it looked like a friggin' grenade exploded inside of his ACL, MCL, PCL, ECL. Is that on part of the knee?
I'm off the Javonte Williams thing.
I'm telling you, brother, if he's back to where, if he's at least 95% of what he was before the injury, if he's at 90 to 95 of where he was, Jaden Blue can forget it. Because Javonte Williams will get the ball.
This is going to be you remember last year when I said this isn't going to be, the Zeke Elliott show.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't become the Zeke Elliott show.
Yeah, because we all kind of knew like this was a pity, a pity contract for Zeke. But the year before, Zeke was, he was stealing some touchdowns and he was, actually scoring a little bit. So it was forgivable. But here's the thing: if Javonte Williams, like I said, if he's not right, if he's not that guy that he was, then hey, all bets are off. But if he's 95% of what he was before the injury, I think it'd be just fine.
This is going to be just like last year. I said it wasn't the Zeke Elliott show and it was the Rico Dowdle show, and
right.
Everybody shook their head at me, and it became the Rico Dowdle show breaking 1,000 yards. I'm doing it again this year. It's not the Javonte Williams show. It's the Jaden Blue show, and it's about to be the Jaden Blue show. And he's going to break 1,000 yards this year. Jaden Blue is the real deal. I don't buy Javonte. I think he takes over. I think Jaden Blue takes over that job. I think that Jaden Blue is the guy to watch.
Well, of course. I mean, they invested some draft capital in him, of course.
Yeah.
And there's Miles Sanders there too. But again,
Miles Sanders.
Right? I'm just going off of health, right? If Javonte is still, if he's still dealing with the after effects of the injury and he's not where he was before the injury, I'm 100% with you. I can
say
see
good night. Yeah,
I can see it. But if not, if Javonte is back, then
Yeah. So, folks, that's our show. That's Alex's bold predictions, and that's our show. So, So before we get out of here, we want to go ahead and give a few shout-outs to our sponsors here. First of all, we want to give a shout-out to It's Your Time Massage. Amanda's a wonderful massage therapist. She does excellent work. She's the best massage therapist in the Metro Detroit area. If you're looking for a massage, check out iytmassage.com, or you can go out and check her out at It's Your Time LLC on Facebook. Get yourself a massage. She does Swedish massages, deep tissue massages, foot sugar scrubs. She does the red light therapy. If you want CBD oil, get CBD oil. She's the best of the best at what she does. Check it out. It's Your Time Massage at iytmassage.com. And remember, folks,
it's your time. And guess what? If you happen to be watching the stream on Twitch or YouTube, the Facebook page is pulled up right now in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. If you're watching this on video, her page is up there right now. Go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, let's talk about Face Kick Apparel. Sean Stockmeyer, his wonderful wife Lisa, they're doing awesome work over there. All your custom hats, hoodies, T-shirts, you name it, you pick it, they stick it over there at facekickedapparel.com. And as per the norm, boots.
get your face kicked in with savings.
Absolutely. Also, let's talk about Patch Miracle Photography. If you're looking for graduation photos.
What?
If you're looking for newborn photos.
What?
First birthday photos.
What?
Engagement pictures.
What?
Maternity pictures.
What?
If you're looking for wedding photos.
What?
If you're looking to get that sexy special boudoir shoot for that special someone in your life.
Oh yeah. I was laying that up for you, Boots. I was laying that up just for you.
So check it out. Oh Jesus. PatchMiraclePhotography.com.
Better shot.
Okay. So PatchMiraclePhotography.com. Andrew, his wife Chantel, they're the best of the best. They made me look like a movie star on my wedding night.
That's right. Shoot.
He couldn't even get through it.
God, dog it, man.
They made me look like a movie star on my wedding night. What are you going to say? Joe Pesci? Jesus Christ. Check him out.
Yeah, turn over. I'm sorry. All right. One more time.
They made me look like a movie star on my wedding night.
That's right. George Burns.
George Burns.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hi, I'm Al Lewis.
Patch Miracle Photography, they are the best of the best at what they do. They're going to make your special nights even more special. Check them out over there at PatchMiraclePhotography.com. Also, let's talk about some of these gaming channels. First of all, the artist formerly known as Big Willie Doug's Gaming, now known as No Shot Bot TTV. Will is awesome. He's doing some really cool stuff over there on his Twitch channel and on the TikTok.
The TikTok.
Moment for the day.
He is live and in public right now. And earlier on our stream, he stopped by and said hello. I didn't want to ruin the room. I didn't want to ruin the flow of the show, but I will tell you, he did stop by and said hi on our show tonight. But yep, he is on there. What does he do on his channel? Can you tell me about that, Scotty?
A lot of shooters, man. The stuff he's part of a a gaming team, so they do a lot of cool stuff. He's been doing a lot of first-person shooters and stuff like that, but sometimes he just hops on Twitch and he'll just go through and do some random stuff. I jumped on there, and the one day I happened to pop in over there at his place and wound up eating a booger-flavored jelly bean in front of everybody, which it was disgusting. Yeah, so it was so gross. A booger-flavored jelly bean. It wasn't a booger. I didn't eat a booger in front of everybody, dude. Jesus Christ.
I don't eat mine in front of everybody either.
You just do it on your own time. In the shower.
Nobody see me. I like hardball.
But Jesus Christ. But yeah, he looked at it. But anyway. Yeah, I know. It was so gross. But no, it's a very entertaining channel. We have a good time over there on No Shot Bot TTV. I'll probably be going over there to tune in after this show. But yeah, check him out. Will's doing just some really great stuff over there. It's very entertaining. He's very inclusive with everybody. He gets everybody involved, and people start talking to him, and he responds to everybody pretty quickly. It's a good time. So check him out. No Shot Bot TTV on TikTok, on Twitch, the whole deal. And also, Alex, let's talk about your stuff going on. Steel Twins Gaming, what's happening over there?
Absolutely. So on top of streaming the Outside Blitz here on this very channel, I will say that we do all kinds of stuff here on the Steel Twins Gaming. Do you like nostalgic games? The package, Andrew Steele, he's got your number. On every single Monday night, we have Nostalgic Mondays. We're trying to figure out when to do Legend of Zelda Tuesdays. Wednesday nights, I'm going to be running Diablo runs. Thursdays, I'm just going to do some random stuff. I was on PC yesterday. On certain Tuesdays, I'll be just hopping on Magic the Gathering Arena. So I'll be using my PC for that. And don't forget, right now, as of this moment in time, my brother, the package Andrew Steele, on his Twitch channel, Steel Twins Andy, is giving you Super Mario Fridays. So be sure to check him out for that too. But of course, we could not talk about Steel Twins Gaming without the pièce de résistance, the flagship show, voice acting. And this season 16, we are bringing you Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Anybody that's followed my channel for the past 2 years or so knows I've been streaming a whole bunch of Ace Attorney games. Well, Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane, is Ace Attorney with magic. So, like spells and wizards and mages and stuff. It's pretty cool. Give it a check. Check it out. We moved voice acting to Sunday nights, but do what you got to do. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube. Go give us a look. Check out the archives. You will not regret it. And I think we got one last sponsor to go. Boots, what kind of stuff do you like to read?
Mostly stuff that's on the inside of bathroom stall walls. Not as much success with those numbers, though. But the thing that you should be reading is not bathroom graffiti. It is the book known as I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash, or titled I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash, written by a wonderful new author, Tammy Pruitt. She does her thing. She puts her worth, she puts her life, she puts her emotion, her intelligence, and her wisdom on these pages for you to read, for you to relate to, because there's plenty of weight loss issues that people deal with, depression, anxiety, think emotional distress, right? These are all topics that are covered in this book. And what else is covered in this book? If she can't give you an answer, there are links available to places that can get you some of the help that you need. Some people need therapy. I think we all need some sort of therapy. Every one of us needs some sort of therapy, right? And that is an avenue for you to help yourself. The mental health thing, right? That's huge these days. Well, talk about mental health. When there's extra weight on you, when there's extra, not just physical weight, but emotional weight on you, right? You need somewhere to channel. Like, you need somewhere to to deal with that. Well, this book allows you to deal with that. It's like having a conversation with her, but it ain't a boring conversation because there's humor in this book as well. The story of how cookies were eaten out of the trash is in this book, and it is a story you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss this book. Get this book. You can't walk into a store and get this. You ain't gonna go to Kroger, Meyer, or even Barnes and Noble. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna get online. You're gonna. That's me typing on the keyboard, right? Tick,
Yep.
tick, 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 tick. You're gonna go online. You're gonna go to Amazon.com. You're gonna order this book. You're gonna go to BarnesandNoble.com. You're gonna order this book. You're gonna go to AppleBooks.com. You're gonna order this book. Just go to your .coms, right? Just open up your search bar. Delete whatever stuff you had been looking at. And search for I ate cookies out of the trash.
Delete
Right.
your browsing history,
Delete
please.
your browsing history, please. I think how many dudes dying wishes that? Anyway, order I ate cookies out of the trash. You search for the book, you order it, it'll come to your door in a nice package. You tear open that package, and then you pour yourself a nice cup of hot tea, maybe some coffee. You read that book and you understand that this is what you should be doing with your life.
With your life.
That's right. I ate cookies out of the trash. Wonderful book.
Yep. I just purchased that for my Kindle while we're sitting here, live and in color. So I'm going to read it after we're done here.
Well, look at you,
That's a win.
Alan.
That's
That
a
is
win.
Look at that. See, people, that's what I'm talking about.
That's a win.
That's right.
That's a win.
And you will win in life if
Yeah.
you read this book.
Absolutely.
You got to buy it first.
Yeah. Gotta buy it. Gotta buy it at all the .coms. And folks, that is our show for today. We are ready to rock and roll. We got the NFL season. This is our last weekend without football.
That's right.
Last without football. Because the preseason will be underway. And we're going to see all the Hall of Fame games coming. We're going to see all the Thursday night football games coming. We're going to be seeing all the preseason. And, folks, we're going to be talking a little bit about fantasy football as well. That's going to be on the horizon, too. So we're going to be jumping into that before the season starts.
That's the ugly face.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, we get to say all your favorite lines that you get to hear when we do the regular season episodes. They will be back with a vengeance.
Yeah, you got the ugly face on, but I always make sure you're not on camera right now, so you're like the claw. Go gadget microphone. But anyway,
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I understand something. I heard this. I cannot give complete credit to this person. I remember their name, so I'm sorry. But they said, remember, you, especially if you listen to this, on your worst day, you live like somebody that's on your praise. Right? So remember that. When you're going through these hard times, when you're going through these struggles, there's somebody that's got it worse than you. I talked to a man earlier today, man. I remember this guy from the old neighborhood. He asked me, you remember this guy? I said, I remember you. Can you still box? And he started boxing. But my man was in bad shape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was sad to see him, but I was glad to see him because he was still here, right? Standing outside, begging for change, right? Hoping for somebody to, do a little something for him. I did. I'm not saying that to get hey, good job, who's good? No. I'm just saying that because we all need to help a little somebody. We all need a little help sometimes, right? But remember, you on your worst day live like somebody on their greatest day.
Yep.
Right? So remember that.
Yep, absolutely. And folks, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time right here on the Outside Blitz.
You're probably talking about us because we're the only thing to talk about.
Ciao.